Hello, hello, hello. I think there we go. Can you hear me now? There we go. What is going on? How is everybody doing? Somehow my microphone was turned off there on the settings. Let me make sure that's actually going now. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. So, how's everybody going today? Let's see if we can get my main man Striker here on a call. See what we got.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm chilling. I ended up getting home a little bit earlier, so I decided I was like going to pop in Lost Relics and start doing some grinding.
Oh, hell yeah.
Try to catch up with you, man.
So, catch up with me, yeah, right? Like, what are you? You're
Oh,
way
have you
higher
unlocked
than I
them?
am, yeah.
In titles, you probably have already unlocked some of them, no?
I got 2 of the Transcendent ones yesterday. I got
Oh, I
the
have
Lord
not
of
got it.
Shadows and the Reaper.
Ooh, sick.
Still need to get that 3rd one, though. Oh, they extended the creepy coins. I just
Huh, that's
noticed. And the
strange.
Slender Bones are now 3 days.
Let me change the audio settings really quick because apparently I have something wrong here.
All good, all good. We got Diogo in the house. How you doing, brother?
Okay. Can you hear me better there?
I
Or
can.
Did anything on
Yeah.
your end? You hear me better though?
I can, actually.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, whenever you do an update, everything resets all the time, right?
Well, I just actually had the same thing where my mic wasn't coming through, and then I had to, it was like assigned to some weird device that I do not own. It was like, okay, like I never actually adjust those things, so cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, a little quick fix, all good to go. So
That's
we've,
what I like to hear.
yeah, we've been trying to do this for a little while again. On September 21st, 2021, if I'm not mistaken, we did our first interview. You were the first person that we ever interviewed on the channel.
Watch out. First off, it's crazy to think how 1 year plus has already flown by.
Right? Like, yeah.
And then 2, it's pretty badass that I was the first one, so I'm happy
like
about that.
the glory. But
Yes.
yeah, so I figure we'd start kind of like the way that we did the last time, where if there's people that don't know who you are, we'll talk a little bit about you, and then we'll get into some more of the Lost Relics, and then also what's going on with crypto lately.
I know. I'm good, man. We'll knock it out. We'll have a good time.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, yeah, I don't know if you want to
Sure.
do it or
Yeah,
me.
I'll give a little breakdown. Yeah, I'll give a little breakdown. So, my name's Francisco Munoz. I go by Cisco, aka Striker. Has been my gamer tag since I was competing in Halo back in the day.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, so pretty much, I'm a CPA, certified public accountant. Got into crypto in 2016. Started doing like mining rigs, like ETH mining rigs. And pretty much has been involved with crypto ever since then. You know, the DeFi craze, the NFT craze, and gaming's always been one of my biggest passions, especially since playing competitively. So
yeah,
I'm going to be
what was
here
your
as this
competitive
thing
background?
grows. So I started back in, let's see, I was 16 years old on the release of Halo 2. I was playing Halo 1. No, I'm sorry, I was 17. I was 17 and just made it into college, and I was playing Halo 1 with my roommates, literally getting to know everybody.
Oh yeah.
And then like 2 months later, Halo 2 was released. And I mean, you know how it is when you're playing against somebody that has like been playing a game for like years and you're inexperienced and getting demolished?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, that was me in Halo 1. And then when Halo 2 came out, it was an even playing field. No one knew.
Yeah.
So I started winning, and I just kept rolling with it. Started going to tournaments all over the US.
That's awesome. What was your first? Was there like a local tournament? Is that what was someone like one of your friends was like, you need to go to this thing?
Exactly. There was so I was going to school in Austin, and there was an Alamo Draft House, which is like one of those like movie centers / like beer garden places.
Yep.
And they had a tournament, and a bunch of I was playing college baseball. And a bunch of the guys from the team wanted to go play the tournament, so I just went with them randomly. I mean, I had been playing, but like I didn't have plans to go in the tournament, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't what you were aspiring to do at that point in time.
Exactly. I ended up getting second in that tournament, but it hooked me, and I just kept playing.
That's awesome.
You know, grinding the leaderboards, and then all of a sudden I started hearing people talk about MLG, and I was like, I wonder what that is.
I remember
there's a tournament.
MLG
I made some friends.
Yeah,
and they invited me to go on their team, and we kicked ass in our very first tournament.
Oh, that's
we got
awesome.
to play against the #1 seed in the world, and we almost took a game from them. So everyone's like, who are these new kids?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Just over there stomping on people, and then next thing you know, you're going to more and more. For anyone who's never been to one of those, what would you, when you were first going, because I remember going to like Rumble in the Desert and stuff before MLG, and you know, back then it was just a giant stinky warehouse that probably should have had better cooling, considering everybody was bringing their towers and CRT monitors, you know, like where it's like, I'm gonna go over here and let me lug 50 pounds of equipment to go play.
Yeah, for real.
When you were in, because I never did console.
You were PC.
I was, when I was doing that, it was PC. So what were the console tournaments? Did you have to bring anything like it was with the other ones?
So the first major tournament that I went to, like the first real tournament, was with MLG, and it was in New York, the Meadowlands.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a badass professional setup. Like, you know, I think there was somewhere around like 350 teams times 4 people each.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was huge. It was huge. And that was actually the MLG. And I don't know if you've heard about this, but like they got a network deal with TBS, and they started showing the tournament on TV.
I did not know that. I remember when MLG was first coming up, like, but yeah, I did not know that they ever had a TV deal.
Yeah, I mean, they like the episodes literally came out like at 6 a.m, but it was on TV.
But it was on TV, right? Like, who cares? Like, yeah, like set your alarm so that you can watch it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's better than nothing. That's really like surprising too, with the state of how long it took gaming to grow in like an esports level.
That's exactly,
because that's like really early on for a TV network to even pick it up. I mean, now it seems like who wouldn't, because they make so much money now off of like not using the actual networks now. But yeah, that's really surprising. That's
Yeah,
like,
it's funny
90s,
because
or yeah, right, or early 2000s.
it was 2004 was my freshman year.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
they were ahead
But
of the game.
after I went to that tournament, and I started like, first off, I mean it's just fun, right? So
Oh
like,
yeah.
you're meeting people all around the world, guys you've been gaming with forever that you've like just heard their voice, you've never actually met them.
Oh yeah.
And then you're playing in the tournament. So when I got back home, I was like, I could do this. Like I could do
Right.
tournaments. Like first off, I want to do a tournament so that I could play because there's nothing to play where I live. And I actually started doing that. Like I talked to my pops because I was underage at the time, and I told him, I was like, if we buy a bunch of Xboxes and we rent out a hotel ballroom, I can just put up ads on cars and on MySpace and on
Do some guerrilla
Facebook.
marketing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I literally got like shoe shine polish and like wrote on the back of people's windows on the car, Halo 2 tournament at this place and time.
That is
and
funny.
people just showed up. Yeah.
That's
But
great.
those tournaments were like, everyone bring an Xbox, everyone bring a controller.
Did they have to
because
bring a
there's not enough for
TV too?
Yeah, I mean, I actually bought some TVs for the tournament
shit.
and then immediately returned them afterwards.
I like it.
I mean, I was a kid. I was poor. I didn't
Yeah,
have
I
any,
mean, it's
but I
still
wanted to make it
smart.
happen.
So
We
you
actually
were
did that in
hosting
New
them.
York too. Yeah, we were hosting them.
That's
Rented,
sick.
Rented ballroom. It got to the point where like, I mean, I made a bunch of friends in the process too because we were all playing and having fun. But it just got to the point where things just started growing and like really fast, to where like when Halo 3 launched. Now this is a few years later, and
Yes.
I've been doing it the whole time. Like when Halo 3 launched, I was already prepared. I purchased 32 TVs and 32 Xboxes to run my own
Woo.
tournaments. Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard the story, but when Halo 3 was launched, apparently there was like some manufacturing issues where the discs were all scratched. Like
What?
like the first like
I don't remember that, yeah.
million copies, the first million copies of Halo that were made, Halo 3, were all scratched because they didn't put them in the case correctly. So like, yeah, it almost threw the whole tournament into chaos. But
Did
we-
you
we-
end up
we
with any of the
survived.
broken ones?
All of them. Like,
Oh,
almost
every
all of
single
them.
one of them went. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I had to do like multiple trips to multiple Walmarts to like get them to refund me, and then give me a new copy, let me open it so I can see will it work, and I was able to pull it off somehow.
There we
luckily.
go.
I think
Well,
I was like 2 copies short, but I had 2 friends that I was like, hey, bring your Xbox and bring your game.
That's not bad though for 30.
I know it took days though. It took days.
Oh, I bet. And
But-
panicking. Like, what are we gonna do?
Oh, yeah. I've already paid the rent.
It's like,
and
yeah.
the tournament hasn't started yet. We're not going to even make back the money. Like, this is going to be
thing's-
the end.
It's like the beginning of the end, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
it's
though.
funny thinking about those times and like how far everything has progressed now. You have like League of Legends World and Dota 2 tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Call of Duty
You've
tournaments.
got-
$1 million on the line.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollar payouts, $1 million prizes. There, like the fact also that if I'm not mistaken, the entertainment, like video gaming, is now the #1 by far entertainment like industry. Like you can
It's
add
crazy.
the next. Like I know that sports, it's been overtaken by, or like it overtook sports. And if I'm not mistaken, you can add up the like next 3. And then
Yeah.
you will start to actually meet the numbers.
Get close.
Yeah, but they're still not beating the numbers. That is, gaming now. Which, like the
It's
tournaments and
crazy.
stuff, is a good segue too. That's how you found Lost Relics for the first time. Was
That's
through a
exactly
tournament.
right. The Swissborg Multiverse Engine event.
So anyone, Jay actually recently got that skin, the Swissborg, the one that looks like a cyborg, green cyborg. Anybody that sees them running around town.
Yeah, I know Swissborg is still close to Engine, so Engine's always talked about doing that main multiverse event, but you know, fingers crossed that something ever happens on that end.
Yes,
That was
I'd
a
be
lot of
very
fun.
down for it. 'Cause that was one of the first things that attracted me to Engine was its multiverse. It was the first one that I had really come across that was doing it, like,
Yeah.
with actually other games. Where it's like, yeah, this can be used in other games, but we haven't talked to any other games, so technically you can't. But technically you can, and on Engine it was like, no, you get this thing, and 5 different games are ready to go. All
The sad thing is, like, for the players, it was amazing. It was fun. It was a fun tournament. It proved this whole idea about, you know, metaverse, NFTs transferring from game to game. It just did some like first of its kind stuff. The problem was that I'm sure it was a negative feeling for the developers and for the companies because they were like suffering through the gas fees issue during the entire tournament.
Yeah, I remember the gas fees issues.
So
that was
rough,
that was a bunch of different games. Which one was the one that you actually knew? Because Lost Relics, if I recall from last year, it was one of the games in a rotation for this quest.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
was
how you ended up discovering Lost Relics. But what was the one that brought you?
I played. There was a mobile game called, oh man, I forget. It was like a Flappy Bird game. I forgot. It's on Engine. But it was a Flappy Bird game, but with like a little man with a balloon on his back. I forgot what it was called. Like that was the first game I ever played that had NFTs. Then I went to Forest Night for the tournament, and then I had a choice of either Nine Lives Arena or
Nine Lives. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the other one was.
The Six Dragons.
Yeah, I think it was the Six Dragons.
Was it?
Wow, I haven't thought about the Six Dragons in so long.
They had they have an impressively large game, but their graphics are a little lacking.
Yeah, one of those things, man. But yeah, that led me. I made it. I collected all the pieces, so I was able to do the finale in Lost Relics. And then Cliff was so smart, bro. He did the finale. So first off, he does an event, right, for Engine. He does the event for Engine. But then he's so smart because since he's the finale, he's also doing the award ceremony to like tell people who won, who won. And then as soon as the award ceremony was over, he moved the stream into, oh, and by the way, we have a new Lost Relics patch where now we have a skill-based system where you can level up your skills and gather resources and do production.
Yeah, so
after everyone
just got done playing it too. Like
it was the after party to the event.
That's
Lost
awesome.
Relics.
What was the so when you first started like that, what was the, you know, we used to have population numbers, and I know that, you know, it's kind of just speculation at this point inside the game what the population numbers are, but did you see more people back then? What was the community like when you first showed up?
So it was much smaller for sure, because at that time when I showed up, there wasn't actual player numbers. Like there wasn't an icon that showed you like concurrent or monthly or whatever. What it was like, you know how right now in the Halloween event you have the leaderboard?
Yes.
Where it shows the names? It was literally that. Every adventure had a leaderboard, and every month, I think it was, or every week, the leaderboard would reset. So based on how many times you completed a dungeon, you would get 1 point. And so like I would like walk by like the most difficult dungeons, and I would see players like Gecko completing it 30 times, and then the second player had only completed it like 3 times.
Oh,
and I was just like, what the hell? And so like that's how you started to get to know people's names.
Yeah, the leaderboards. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it was Telegram back then, so you knew people's names. You went to the Telegram, and then you see like, oh, I know who that is.
And so wait, so were you were playing though back when you could just continuously like go through a dungeon, right?
So yeah, so there was
Forgotten Artifacts era.
Yes, so it had just changed names right before I joined, and you had to pay roughly 25 cents per adventure to get in.
Yes, it was supposed to be like an arcade style, right? Like a quarter.
Exactly. And you would when you got to the end of the dungeon, you chose to go into a deeper level or exit. And if you went deeper, the dungeon got harder.
That's cool. Do you miss
Yeah,
that
it was a
style?
lot of fun. I do. I think I really do.
Yeah.
I think I even missed the like 25 cents per run thing. And I know some people would be like, "That's blasphemy." No, like we don't want that. But it just made the game feel so different because like you had a 1-to-1 understanding of what the value of the stuff from the game was, because you
Okay.
knew, hey, I put in a quarter, and I got out one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Everbread. I got
Mhm.
one uncommon Everbread. So I know roughly this thing should be worth 20 cents, roughly. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so it was, maybe it was just a way for new people coming into crypto and NFTs to start to understand the system or how it could work.
How did the gas fees work with that system then? When you were paying, like what, you would purchase credit? Or
So
like,
you
how
purchased-
would you deal with the transaction and not be paying gas fees back then?
You know how how do I put it? You know how you'll buy like a bundle, or like, well, if you like buy a pendant right now, you get an item that allows you to have membership, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, back then you would buy like a pouch of adventure stones.
Okay.
And I think so, like for $10, a pouch would have
I
like
got you.
a certain amount of stones in them, and every time you went into an adventure, you had to turn in a stone.
All right.
You
So
know.
yeah, like wasn't a you deal with one gas fee for X amount of like dungeon runs.
So that's not even a gas fee. That was just a credit card purchase.
Oh, they went around that one. Yeah, I missed the I missed the credit card gateway.
In the beginning, was it credit card? How did I buy them?
I mean, for a long time, the credit card was up there, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was a possibility.
Yeah, that must have been it. Before, was it PayPal? And then PayPal got
was
removed?
definitely up there for a while, and then it came back, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think it was PayPal. And I remember thinking, what was my bad, I blanked. What was the last thing you had just said before the money, the PayPal issue? Oh, the gas.
Gas fees, yeah.
Yeah, on the gas, really the only thing you had to worry about for gas was like buying and spending on Nginx.
Okay, yeah, where all the items were.
Mm-hmm. Which Cliff obviously had to worry about the entire thing because he was sending stuff to everybody as soon as you got it. So that must have been really rough.
Yeah, that must have been really fun too, paying the gas fees of everything as well.
For real. But yeah, no. So for me, with the gas fee so high, the only thing that made sense was to purchase high dollar items. Like if I'm gonna pay $20, $30 for a fee, like I better be buying an item that's like $300, or else it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, because there was a point where, like, you want to go buy a longbow. It's like the longbow's like a $3 item at the time or something like that, but it's going to end up costing you $40 because you got to pay a ton of gas fees, like, at the time. It's like, yeah, I remember that was like the whole first giveaway tournament that I feel like you were a part of too, right? Or maybe
Which
not
giveaway?
I know you were the part of the Halloween one.
Oh yeah. Oh, when I lost air conditioning.
Yes, and it was like we're gonna see how well this goes. Like, all right, don't die in there. It's like water break.
I know. If I pass out, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, well, his heart's in it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and they were actually fixing my ceiling too.
Yep, construction.
So like there was construction.
Construction, and the AC's out. It was like, all right, we're gonna still try this. It worked out great.
Wow.
It worked out fine.
Yeah, it did. It did.
What?
And like, I mean, ever since that stream, honestly, like just watching what you guys and with A&G have been doing and growing over the past like year and stuff has like been really cool to watch, especially like when there's been some time where I've taken off of Lost Relics for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I come back, or I turn on Twitch, or I turn on YouTube, and I see you guys making content. I'm like, damn, man, that's
still
cool.
going hard.
Still going, baby. Still going.
So like, yeah, hopefully that never stops. Like, we'll just keep moving on to different communities, different games. But I'll still always be playing some Lost Relics.
Oh yeah.
I love this game way too much.
How many games are you keeping an eye on?
Realistically, I look at probably like 6 or 7, but I really only actively will mess around and play with probably 3.
Yeah.
There's obviously, because of when I was at Market Square, I have access to probably like 50 different games, and because they, they'd be like, if you need to pay for, it's a lot of the games at the time were, you need to buy this access NFT, and so I would just send invoices for, like, yeah, you guys want us to check out and make content about all these random games, so we just jump from game to game and then just shoot out invoices. And then when I left Market Square, I was like, do you guys want all these NFTs back? And they're like, no. It's like, you can just have them. And it was just like, all right. Like, granted, it's like half of them aren't worth it anywhere near what was like purchased for them at the time. But it's still, like, it's like, you guys spent thousands of dollars to get access to these games, and they're just like, all right, here, go ahead, take it. So
Yeah,
I have a
peak
bunch
of the gaming
games.
season.
Yeah, literally. And then the crashes that started after that. But before we get into the crashes and stuff, so you've gone through tons of events in Lost Relics. How does this one fare? What are your... Like, were there stuff that you wanted in the past that got brought into the game now? Just how do things compare to when you were initially doing events and stuff?
The thing I'm most impressed with is how good the game feels to play. Like the actual clicking movements, attacking, dodging. It just feels good. You can get in the zone, that natural state of flow can just happen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, you've done like 10 dungeon runs,
Mm-hmm.
That I think is the best feeling here. I also give Cliff and Corey a lot of credit, and don't get me wrong, the system's not perfect, but I really like the way that they made these reward models, because everyone is I kind of described this a little earlier, but like, people used to have like a game plan. Like, I'm going to have my gold before the event, buy the stuff and crack it all open and see what I get.
I remember a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's more like, no matter what you do, if you're smashing pumpkins, if you're getting creepy coins, like, there's like 10 different trees you could go down. Like, you RNG come across one item that puts you down a path to get the rest of the stuff, right? Like,
yes, like these pieces.
Yes. And what's cool about the pieces is that, even if 1,000 players play and there's only, I don't know, 200 maces, I'm making up numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and only 200 people get to enjoy it. That means 800 people don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But now with the pieces, even if you're not one of the ones that ended up with the item, you at least could have a chance at finding one, getting gold, and getting some type of quote unquote value or enjoyment out of it, even if you don't walk away with the NFT at the end of the day, which I think will make more people happy.
I think I really liked it because I still feel like, you get that awesome little rush. Like, I got an item, and even if it is still, it's not like I can't use it at this point, but it's like still just fun being able to get more things. And I've had a lot of people that have messaged me, like, very proud that they were able to complete one of these things instead of just find it. Like, it's not just you randomly found it, like, or buying it. You actually completed and did this whole little thing and put the puzzle together. And I think that a lot of people have really, really enjoyed, that type of an aspect.
Yeah,
I really like that.
If I had to rank it, this is up there.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think this has been my favorite event from I did last Halloween, Christmas, and then this one now, because we didn't have a Easter event this past year. But by far, this has been my favorite one. Like, I like that little elements that have been evolving were kind of sprinkled on events in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And started to evolve a little bit more, like the summoning of a boss, like with Glacian. Like, that was not there before, and then, now we can do it with, what's it, Conqueron?
Exactly.
I think is his name. The skin. What did you think of Morphs?
I I love it. I mean, I'm completely down with it. Especially my main thing is that like how much the morph makes the new large adventures still feel like the old smaller ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it still makes it feel it,
much
but like
smaller ones, but yeah.
Aesthetics are much better.
Oh my god, yeah.
Enemies are much better, so highly, I really enjoy it. Now I have only gotten one morph, and hopefully we'll be changing that. But in the meantime, it feels great as I activate the morph.
Which one do you have? You have the Gator? The Gator golf?
I have the Warthog.
Oh, the Warthog. That's right. The Warthog.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Everyone
like
was getting the fox,
one.
so I was like, okay, I'll be the odd man.
Yeah, I was charging
Or
the
the
Grizzly group, and then yeah,
The Grizzly group, I
Yeah.
like it.
the Grizz gang, and then yeah, I did not. I ended up grabbing all those, and we gave away a few morphs. I was not super pleased initially with the pricing of it, and particularly that first day when they launched them, and they had the 20% movement debuff.
Oh, okay.
And it was only for a day, but everyone that didn't get a mount was 20% slower. And so 20% was like really noticeable for everybody moving around. And granted, it wasn't even up 24 hours before they had heard the community cry. Because it was like essentially $60 if you want to move like normal speed. But they ended up altering that and dropped it down where the morph didn't boost 40%, it did 30, I think, speed, and then it only took away 10%, and the 10% wasn't bad at all. Granted, we all would have gotten used to it if,
Sure.
if
With
we
time.
had to. Yeah, like, run 5 dungeons, and then you might not even notice that you're running slow anymore. But
Exactly.
I really enjoyed the morph. I liked how it was a unique take on a standardized system of mounts. Where, normally it's just, it's a fantasy game. Give them a horse. Like,
True.
Let them hop up on there, and the variety could be what type of animal you're riding. And I haven't run into ones where you're like straight up turning into something. It's like the druid class in World of Warcraft, but only the druid could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
mean,
thought that was a big success, the mounts.
Agreed. And maybe, I mean,
morphs.
the tweaking of the mounts is what just makes me feel like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's extremely cool. Like, I hadn't really played like an early access game where like you get to see it get built out in front of you before this.
It's not for everybody either.
It's not. It isn't. But it's just funny to like, again, think back about the past and where we've been and where we've come from and what it looks like now,
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the visuals. When they started updating the dungeon mechanics and they did that visual overhaul, it was just like, oh, wow. It's like, because I remember I was pretty bummed when they took away the low angle. And
oh yes,
not so much like because I wouldn't personally use it in today's system, like with it being melee, like because the low angle gave you a huge advantage for ranged, but it wouldn't really help you that much with that. But it made the game look a lot more dynamic to me, which is what I really liked about the low angle. And then they took it away, but then when they gave it the facelift, it's like I don't miss my low angle because, for any of that reasoning anymore, where it's like, I'm not going to use a bow anyway, so I don't need the low angle, like, range, but I liked it because, it made the game look cooler to me, like, the way that it was more 3D, and with the overhaul that they did, I thought they updated it perfectly, where it looks great, and, that was no longer this issue from before. JMeyerPhotos, my 17-hour stream was 31 gigs.
Jeez.
I can't wait to upload that to YouTube. That's going to take all night.
Set it and forget it.
Literally, though, because it's like normally because I have all the ANG people using a frame server, and they'll upload their previous streams, and then we'll host all the replays on ANG. And Yeah, some of them are larger than others. 32 gigs, I think, is the winner so far.
You got it down, man. You got it down.
Yeah, definitely do that one before I go to sleep, because, yeah, that'll burn a whole day of bandwidth uploading for 17 hours. Like, all right, sweet. But it works out. So,
Yeah.
have you looked at, are there other elements that you would like to see in the future that you were hoping to see for an event-wise specific to Lost Relics?
I probably say, and like this isn't specifics because I don't know what the best method of this is, but like I think I think a majority of the player base would say that like the virtual pieces to create an item is a success. I think that would
I agree.
be,
I think it was
I think everyone would agree on that. So my only thing would be if there's a way to maybe incorporate maybe that same logic or a twist on it or something, but where rather than the gold market being the only thing, the Shadowstone market could now play a feature in it. I do think that could be very beneficial to just having more Shadowstone circulate, either drops for people or people buying, people selling. And you probably want to have those, whatever those items, be cheap. You wouldn't want people to be forced to come up with a heavy amount of cash to be able to interact with it. But it would, I think it could really start helping the game grow more in terms of the economics that crypto can bring to it.
Okay, yeah. I've been pretty excited where I know there was discussion in the community where people were bummed out that there wasn't a Easter event. But with all the dungeon overhauling that was going on, it's like I'm super excited about the future of how much quicker things can progress now, because the old way that the system was going, if I recall, was literally every time they wanted to add a new dungeon, he was physically building
a new dungeon.
And now he can just build a skin or a new theme to it, and then it just plug and play all those assets in, and it will randomly generate whatever it needs, like with those. And so there's going to be so much more. Like, we have a really solid foundation built now in the game, I feel like, where we're going to see things progress quicker than we ever saw before. Which I think we've already started to see, like, where, there's new dynamic elements to the events, there's morphs, there's, new ability. Like, I love the splash damage hammer.
Oh, yeah? I haven't tested it yet. I just got it.
It is a really awesome animation, like, particularly that. And it's just fun. Like, you just got a giant club that shakes the ground occasionally. And it makes it really easy to manage, like, if you do face tanking, like I do a lot. It's like, if you get a large group, they're now super slow. And you can just line up your hits, like, where I don't need to worry about timing this right based on an enemy. You guys are all so slow that, try it out. I really enjoyed it.
I'm probably gonna go to what is it, Morse
that everyone's
and
doing.
I'll test it out right now in a little bit once I finish this dungeon run.
Yeah, no, just let me know what you think. What are you using right now? What do you think, or what do you think's the best? I think I would know your answer. The best new item.
I think it has to be the Netherband.
Right.
I think it has to be the Netherband.
That just would be the easy, like, right.
It's I mean, when I read the description, I immediately knew the Netherband and the Necrophants. Like, let me put it this way. Like, I have a lot of items, right? I have a lot of items. When I read that description, I knew that both of those items had a chance to be in the top 5 or top 6 for me. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is a must play. This is a must play event.
Yes.
Now,
particularly to get that.
Exactly. I really haven't done too many of the glass cannon builds, to be honest. So maybe there's some more utility there than I'm giving it credit for, because I know a lot of people love it.
It's fun. I mean, I got somewhat used to it doing the strongest man in Talmud, because I needed boss footage, so I ended up having to do dungeons,
Yeah.
like 10 dungeons to get one boss footage fight, and then hope that I, played all the actual consumables in the correct order. And so I got pretty used to using it by the time I was done with the video. But it's a spicy meatball, man. That is a risky operation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's like one wrong look or one wrong glance and bye-bye. Particularly, though, I did not have to deal with the viciousness of the ranged now.
Oh,
like,
dear God.
the rangers and stuff are just brutal now. Like, if you get
they're
4
not
of them
messing
in a room, like, you could take 1,000 damage before you can even get over to one of them sometimes. Because they're always moving.
Yeah. If you're not paying attention, you're going to set yourself up for some damage.
Yes. It's like, better bring some extra fish with you.
The other thing
outside...
I probably...
Oh, yeah.
My bad. Go for it.
No. I was actually going to ask what you're probably... I was going to say, if the nether band wasn't the option, what's the next one? Because I think that's where the real discussion actually goes on.
I think everyone... I think this is a lot harder to say, but I'm a huge fan of the crit from the Necrophancy. Now, I think, and I'm not sure yet, but I think you could make an argument that the crit is not really helping you as much, because you were either going to one-hit kill the guy without it, or it's just barely going to help you, and then when it does, it's a % chance,
Yes.
So I get it. I can see that, but I think I'd rather just roll with that % chance. Like, I think that works good for me.
I like that too, though, because there's also, in my opinion, we're seeing a lot more of diversity for build types in the game.
Yes, which is great.
Is not really something that I experienced a lot of. It was like, obviously people weren't all using the same thing, but it was like, there's the meta, and then there's what you have from the meta. Like, so it'd be like, if you're not using the meta, it's because that you don't have all the items for it. Like, if you're using a Firelight Falchion one-handed sword, it's because it's out of necessity, not out of choice. Like,
sure.
And there was essentially, like, you need these items, and then after that, it doesn't really matter that much for these other ones. And now you're seeing these unique builds that were normally niche sections of the community, in my opinion, where, like, someone was running a glass cannon build before. It would be like Mang's a great example. Like, Mang was running dual melee during the time of bows being king. But it's like, that was not a commonality between the player base, and now I'm starting to see much larger variations and more people that it's not just, I'm using the meta. It's like, oh, I'm doing this build, it worked really well, and then you'll hear about other people now doing it. Like the glass cannon build. There was not a large section of the community using a glass cannon build. And then now they are. And I think that's super cool that there's now some more versatility.
Yeah, and it's going to get even more complicated with all of these new relics that like have specific enemy type damage and all of that.
Yeah, I really like that that's coming in like to play as well. I like their system. I didn't even notice it at first. Like when the first day that it was added and there was just the icon to the left of them.
Yes.
Like I didn't even really notice, and then once someone pointed it out to me, it was like, oh yeah, no crap. Like, how was I looking at these health bars and not seeing that there was an extra icon on there? But yeah, I really like that because that'll add more depth to armor types being used, like because that's like one of the other ones, right? Like armor is gonna get, I think, a nice little revamp, particularly with that new armor. I haven't had a chance to use it. I still don't have the boots.
I just actually hit the chest plate in a spin right before you.
Oh, did you?
We got on stream, yeah.
Congrats. Yeah.
Now I have 2 pieces.
Yeah, I've done pretty well with that one. I've gotten Yeah, I've had 2 chess pieces, 3 gauntlets, 2 helmets, and 1
Partridge in a pear tree.
yeah, and 1 partridge in a pear tree. But I kept selling them and then buying more pumpkins because this was
Oh,
the
you were
first
playing the
event that
market.
yeah, this is the first event that I've really ever done that. Normally I don't buy them and I kind of just let the cards like the chips fall where they lie. And but it's like
But now you're taking your fate into your own hands.
I mean, I just decided to, risk it up a little bit when it comes to that, and it's proven to be a pretty good strategy for me in particular. Like, I would spend, 400,000 gold on, let's say, opening pumpkins, and then I would find, like, I found so many of the necklaces. Not the the pendant part. But I think
cord.
that I've found, at least 5 cords now. And at one point they were selling for, 600,000, 700,000. And so I just kept selling that. And then it was like, I opened 500 pumpkins and I made 200,000 gold technically off of it. And then, buy more. It's a diminishing return, obviously. Eventually, you hit Schitt's Creek. But
True.
I mean,
but hopefully you want to hit some blockchain items before you get there, right?
yeah, I mean, I was just happy that getting the titles because normally I would buy them at the end of an event because they get like every event they're always sold for like 15 gold each by the end of it, and so it's like, oh heck yeah, like I'll buy 100 of them for like 10,000 gold, sure, because 10,000 gold's not that much.
Sure.
But yeah,
not anymore.
Not this time. Which I'm interested. Like, do you have any theory as to why he decided not to allow them to be sold? I thought it was an odd move because you took away a gold sink into the game.
On the titles?
Yeah, because before I could, if I got a scroll of darkness like last year's event, I could sell the Scroll of Darkness, and then someone else could buy it and take a chance to get a different title.
Sure.
And
I don't really know, actually. I hadn't thought about it. If there's a specific reason why, but like the one thing I can say, at least that I would guess in this event, is that at the end of the event, I think a lot of gold is going to be like evenly spread out amongst everybody. Like, and I think that's pretty good for marketplace activity because
I do too.
You have nobody knows who's gonna hit the cords or the pendants or the maces. Like it's random, right?
Yeah.
So then that means randomly you're shifting your goal to someone else in the world.
Yep.
And everyone's doing it all at the same time, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a couple of big players that like played it really smart and made a ton of gold off of it. I did for a few days, and then I burnt it on blockchain items, necrofancy and all that. But
which I think is a smart way to go. I mean,
I agree.
Gold is gold.
NFTs over gold, man. Yeah,
all
NFTs
day.
over gold.
It's like, yes, gold can technically translate to real world cost by taking away you having to buy pendants. But other than that, its versatility as a profit margin is not actually that great compared to. Because, it's like if I could transfer 2 million gold into $20 in blockchain, sold. Like, I don't need the gold. Like, at the end of the day.
We're good. Thank you.
I'm good. Thank you. But yeah, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of interesting with the bounty exchange, because like you're literally turning in blockchain items to get virtuals that you could sell for gold or that you use. But
do you ever
everyone
use that?
loves those Band of Brutality.
I don't use the exchange.
I haven't since. So I changed my strategy.
I have made a couple things. I've made a couple Band of Brutalities and stuff, but I mean the paying for re-rolls and everything like that.
Oh, I haven't used that yet.
I don't.
Well, how much is it again
It's not cheap, if I recall. It's like, does anyone know how much does it cost to re-roll a bounty? I feel like it's like 1,000 bounty bucks or something.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
I remember when I heard it, I was like, like hard pass. Like, that is way too much. I do not get enough bounty bucks for that life.
Yeah, I mean the random part a bit about it is the hard part.
Yes.
Because like, I mean, if it's gonna be random, then I think the price needs to be a little bit lower to take care of that risk. But because you would hate for someone to spend their bounty bucks and then be disappointed in spending it.
Oh, right? Like, yeah, and then
so
the last thing. Oh, I thought I might get a scorn, but I got one pumpkin instead.
Oh, actually, that just happened to me too. I missed the scorn by one slot.
I feel like it's strategically set up to where it's like, damn it.
Trick or
Got
treat.
me again. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
have you used any of the, what does the new mask do?
I haven't. I haven't even gotten the mask.
What is that?
I don't think I have any of the masks.
I don't have any of the masks. I wasn't super impressed when I thought it was going to be this like powerhouse. And then when someone showed me them using the decay and burn. And it was like the decay and burn paired together is just you just run around in circles until everybody gets burned to death.
You can't touch me.
Yeah, like so. I mean, it does work, but it's not exciting, and it's a long dungeon if you're gonna do it that way. When someone deals up to 50 damage to nearby monsters and line of sight up to 4,000 damage. That's interesting. I don't think that's as good as the other ones. Because once 4,000 damage is gone, that thing renders useless.
And there's no way to know how many have already fallen are in the game right now, right? Circulating.
Yeah.
Is it in the? Yeah, it's in the virtual website, right?
I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
Yeah, I think, or maybe because the event is still going, it's not listed yet. Nah, I just haven't checked, to be quite honest.
Let's see, virtual epic. Where you at, mask? There you go. 124 circulating.
124. I mean, that's very little for how far we are in the event.
It's not a lot. I mean, though at the same time too, it's like it's not even that expensive of a mask. Like, you got the decay one's 900,000. The fire one is 630,000, and then the new one is 105,000.
Oh, is there another raffle today? I can't remember if I entered in the raffle or not.
In the game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I need to go double check that after this run then.
I'm pretty sure I bought my tickets for it. I'm gonna double check myself. Because something weird happened last raffle and I did not win. So there must have been some mistake.
It was bugged.
It must have been bugged, dude. Must have been.
This patch, the patch that just got released, it actually addresses that. Don't worry.
Oh, all right, good. I didn't read the patch notes yet. It's like, and Spizzo.
Guaranteed drop rate.
Yeah. Sorry about last week. Like, we got you, dude. Like, it's all right. It's all right. Just don't let it happen too often, okay?
Good stuff.
Someone was asking if we are going to do any giveaways today. We will be doing a Band of Irem today at some point.
Oof. Anytime you can get a legendary relic, period.
A good one.
Exactly.
Band of Irem reduces physical damage taken by 10%. Somehow.
I love this new jingle when you unlock the portal. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that. I was like, did I get an item? And started like looking around like, wait, what just happened? It's like, all right.
I just did that live on stream.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, what's happening? Guys, what's happening?
What did I get? What did I get?
Laughing.
It's like, don't worry about it.
You noob.
That's like me,
we
like half of the
5
events.
minutes ago.
It's like I'll be like doing something, be like, when did that happen? And it'd be like, Spiz, god damn it. Like, did you read the Medium article? Like, sort of I did. Yes, kind of.
What's Medium? No,
yeah, what do you mean? What's the Medium collection? Is that an in-game item that I need to get? Like, yeah, okay. We will do a... Might as well get one going while we...
Smart move.
We're not doing the band quite yet here. Save that for the coup de grace. But we will do, if you need any of the Bad Bears collection, the ANG Streamers limited collection. You can get every single one of them with one win. Wow.
The complete set, baby.
The complete set, and they'll all be matching mints. I'll also send you for coming on to do the interview and stuff. I'll send you a set of them with the
Hell yeah, baby.
matching mints. I don't know why, but I like the matching mints like so much better.
Oh yeah.
I don't even care if they're low number. If they all are the same, yes.
Yeah. It's funny how the human brain works, man.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
well, but they're all the same, so it's clearly better.
Yeah.
I am gonna go grab a drink real quick. I will be right back.
Go for it. How's it going, chat? Thank you guys for joining us and chilling with us while we're doing a little bit of Lost Relics grinding. I need to go check out that raffle. So I guess I didn't win the raffle then, right? Because if Slinton was Slinton's saying 124 maths are circulating. Okay, that's low. That's really low. $10 says, oh no, wait. Okay, yeah, I've already entered. So yeah, the draw will be in a day. I thought the new one was starting and I missed the previous draw, but no, we're good. We're good. What else should I check on? Maybe bounties. I'm not really. Yeah. What did I say? I was gonna try something with legendary. Oh, the new legendary mace. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Go load out. Let's go legendary. Let's switch it to the mace weapon. Mace. Bam. All right, let's go try this out. Oh, he moved the map here. That's pretty smart. I like that. He moved the map there. Hopefully there's some new trick-or-treating I could do in the city because I want some. No, there's not. Damn, I wanted some more coins. Yo, Breezy, what's up, bro? I'm just chilling, man. Enjoying being a 2022 World Series champion. I'm just kidding, man. I got to remind myself every day. We won until the next season starts. Every day I remind myself we're the champions. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, new map spot. Haven't been on today. Oh, new map spot? What do you mean? Oh, new map. I don't know what you mean. Like new update? Because there's been like 2 updates that just recently dropped in the past 2 hours? Hour? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right, let's go into Moors. We're going to try out the mace for the first time, so I'm excited to see how it feels. I don't even know what my relic loadout is. What do I have? Okay, that'll do just fine. That'll do just fine. Oh, it's slower. It's slower than the axe. Oh, nice.
Though it hits like a truck.
Oh yeah, it does. No, it's not slower than. It's
What
got
are
a
you,
shorter reach than the. Oh wait. Oh, it's not only on left click. I mean, on right click. It's on any hit.
Yeah, I really like that.
Is it also a faster animation when it triggers?
I don't know about that actually. It could be.
It feels like it is. Hold on. Let me see if I get one more trigger here. Oh, I think it is. Or maybe it's just because the way the damage looks, it feels that way.
It just looks so cool.
Oh, yeah, they're slowed.
Yeah, isn't it?
Hey, this is lasting a good amount of time.
Really useful. Yeah, because it stays for quite some time. And how much easier is it to manage? Like,
does it do the same amount of damage as an axe?
I don't know. What's
1485? Hold on. I'm getting killed by something. 1485 on the damage per second.
I have a mythic on right now, so that's not going to help us.
Okay.
Does anyone have a legendary two-handed axe that they are using right now? What is the damage per second? I'm still a little. I still get hurt anytime that I look at the damage per second and then look at my Krong. Because it's just
that
like.
Krong is beast, bro. How long ago did you get it?
I got it, I think, 2 weeks before the big like change to the bows. I can tell you the exact date. Hold on. Let's pull up the sheet.
Gotcha.
Wrong.
Smart man keeping a sheet.
Oh yeah.
Two-handed axes are 1485. Also, yeah. So the same.
I got it.
610.
Yeah, and I got a
That
sweet
bow looks
little
beautiful,
deal
I'll
on
tell
it.
you what.
Yeah, it is. It lights up a lot more now too. Since there was that darkness issue, you know how like people were complaining, I guess, that the maps were getting too dark.
Yeah,
And
because
so
of the
yeah,
new light
because of
system.
the night light system, yeah. And I know that when that got fixed, I noticed my Krong, like I don't need to bring a torch if I'm using Krong. Or a Zilborn, for that matter. Like, they light up practically the same amount of aura.
Yeah.
Just not as bright.
Yeah, a little bit less radius, maybe.
Yeah, but, you know, for
But-
not having to carry an item.
Yeah,
Particularly
I mean-
one that you can lose, that I have lost at least 3 lanterns.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, luckily I can make them. But I do know that they did require, if I'm not mistaken, they do require a blockchain item to make.
Yeah. I think
Like
it's
that.
one of those oil resources, the tempering oil or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd have to double check.
yeah, like some type of oil. I remember getting excited the first time I went to go make one, thinking that it was for some reason, the pine sap. I was like, I have hundreds of these. And it was just like,
Oops.
no, dude, does not say that at all. Not even the same type. Like, oh, my bad, my B. So
The animation of destroying the floor with this mace is amazing. It
right?
looks so good. Like the cracks, it looks so good.
When I was doing the short little promo for today, like last night, I was like going through footage, and then I remembered the new axe animation, or the new sledge animation, and I was like, I'm gonna go do a couple runs with F12 on, which is a dangerous situation to be running dungeons with no HUD. But it's how you got to get the footage half the time, unless because I don't ever want like my name up on all these like random things for like the footage, you know. So it's like pop that F12, gone. But yeah, you just have to really pay attention because you'll get paranoid. Like,
I believe it.
What's my health at again? Am I about to die? Like I can't. Like I was having to do that with the glass cannon build when I was making the strongest
that
man in
must have been
Talmud,
difficult.
and it was very nerve-wracking. It was like every room I couldn't advance, I had to stop and hit F12. Like, what's my health at?
Where we at? Where we at?
Yeah, how much leeway do I have? Can I go into the next room and not care? But yeah, it's fun though. You know, I didn't die too many times when I was making that one. But
Well, if only it's one or twice, you're okay.
Yeah, you know. So what has been what's a morph that you want to see in the game?
Ooh, good question. Morph to see in the game. Oh man, that's a good one. I haven't even thought about that. Probably maybe a flying morph, like probably something like, I don't want to just say a dragon. Probably something
Dragon
like,
would be sick.
Yeah, dragon would be sick, but something unique. What's something unique?
Thinking what is that?
You know, technically, it doesn't have to be an animal. You know?
No, it could be whatever you want. It could be a helicopter if you wanted it. It's like
I want
flying around in a Thanos copter.
the Halo Pelican to just.
Oh, there you go. That are like a banshee.
Oh, that's a good one. The banshee would be a good one.
Great. Just zipping around. So with flying, if it was a flying mount, I would assume we're on the same page where it's like you're not actually flying. You're just like hovering over the ground.
Yeah.
Because if you could fly, that'd be sick. But it would be just flying over Talmuth, causing problems for clipping. Like you have clipped out of the map. Please return to Talmuth. Like never.
Return to playable area. 10-second countdown.
No, I'm flying over. What is the one that I was thinking of? What is the Greek mythology creature that's like a lion and it's got Pegasus wings and it's got lizard feet?
Oh,
Manicore?
yeah, I know which one.
Is it a Manicore?
I'm not sure. I know which one. I could picture it in my mind.
Someone look that up. Is it a Manicore that I'm thinking of? I think that's what it is. I think that
Wait a
would
minute.
be kind of
Are you
cool.
talking about like one of the first mounts that you get in World of Warcraft?
Those are
those
that's
are
Griffin,
those
right?
are more. Yeah, Griffins. Yeah.
There's one that's like it's like a lion that flies.
Chad is saying that you're correct.
Yeah. Okay. Manicore. Yeah. That's
Manicore,
one
okay.
that I think would be pretty sick. J Meyer says a spaceship. Don or Bromigo still waiting for his
Spaceship.
platypus.
So are we gonna turn Lost Relics into Fortnite?
Right? Yeah. We'll just do it up. Spaceships,
Yes.
platypus. The platypus pet would be choice actually. What a weird animal. I'll get that guy going in this game. Are there other weapon types or like things like what would you expect to come out of magic?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I mean, I've always thought that magic was gonna do with like buffs and debuffs is what I
Okay.
always assumed, rather than like doing attacks.
Okay.
You know, I think of when I don't know why, like the first thing that pops into my mind is like RuneScape, where it's like activate a certain aura while you're using your spell points or magic.
Okay.
Points. Well, spell in RuneScape, but like you activate an aura or you do something to get a buff or you
So it'd
negatively
be like
impact your
what? Like
enemies.
yeah, like an extra dodging or 10% extra armor while you're in the aura.
Yeah, or I mean, because if it's gonna be a weapon, then I guess it has to be a projectile, right? Like the way that
would
all
think,
of the
right?
magic missiles kind of shit.
You could though technically do a melee one where the damage base is just magic damage base. You know, it's like you have a staff
good
and like
point.
it's like a fire staff, and so it's illuminated and you do fire damage. Because I assume that we're going to see a more dynamic system when it comes to the defense and offense penetration, where it's kind of like the stuff that you see in RTSs often, where you know a light infantry does extra damage against this type, but does less damage against this type, and takes more damage against this type. And I think that we'll start to see a little bit more of that coming into play now that we've got these like classifications, and we've started to see that too actually with this event, with the focus on undead. You know, like 30% less damage, like from the undead creature. It's like stuff that's focused around an enemy type, where we didn't have a lot of that before. I feel like it's some of it,
you're definitely right.
but it was more of a blanketed thing rather than it's like you light the enemy on fire, you cold or chill the enemy. You know, it wasn't this specific type of enemy is going to be taking more damage. They've done, I guess, a little bit of that. That really weird relic that puts all dogs to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Like, what is that? Mender's Mix? Is that what that one's called? Or
yeah, it is.
Yeah, like that one always kind of cracked me up because it was like before we didn't even have an answer because I was like, is a Grodd a dog?
Yeah,
like a Grodd kind of could be a dog. Like it runs on all fours, but well, yeah.
You know what little feature I would like? I would like a random random costume, random pet, or random outfit, random pet button.
Oh, where you just assign a question mark in every dungeon.
Or like different. Every time you exactly. Or like if you leave the tavern or like you log in for the day, it's just you have a random.
Yeah, I like that. Like and just something from your random stuff.
Exactly. I think it would be cool. That's the way I normally run in games, but I know a lot of people like to stick to their look.
Oh yes, their brand.
Exactly.
I'd be down with that one.
I kicked a pumpkin and then my pet it landed on my pet's head and then he like hit it over into
I've actually noticed that every time my pet hits it, it breaks. Like, and anytime I hit it, it's like maybe.
So I think it has to land on the floor on the first contact for it to break. Because if it bounces off a wall, I don't think it breaks. Right?
I don't know, because it's like I swear that there's certain ones I'll target them because there's a cliffside. Because a lot of times I'll hit them and it'll go to a place that I can't go. and I can't
Yeah.
end up breaking it. And so I've actually started, kicking them off one of the walls of one of the buildings in Talmouth, and occasionally it will like shoot really high up, like I lobbed it, and then it will break. But yeah, I have a hard time breaking those things. It's the biggest challenge I've had at this event.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of hard time breaking them too. Or like you'll knock them into an area where you can't get access to them anymore.
Yeah,
so then you have to,
that's what I'm
go into a building
doing.
and come out.
What Jay says, my mud is doing another $200 giveaway. When are they doing that?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they did one on Jay's channel last Friday, I think.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, $200 in carbon.
I really need to give my meta a look. That's one of the ones I haven't done enough homework on or played yet.
Yeah, I know a bunch of the ANG people really enjoy it. I haven't.
There's so much on the to-do list.
Around. Yeah, it's just like constantly.
Like as soon as Lost Relics event is over, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna keep grinding Lost Relics, but I need to play like the new God of War. I gotta play. Like apparently, Big Time just got a new update, and so did Champion's Ascension, and so did what's the other one that got Dead Drop just got a new patch released. So much things to catch up on. Dead Drop by Midnight Society with Dr. Disrespect and Robert Bowling from Call of Duty.
Okay, yeah. All right, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened with. I'm really interested to find out what happened with Dr. Disrespect and Twitch.
Ooh, I'm not sure because he's on YouTube now, right? Or he's on Twitch still?
No, he got like straight up banned on Twitch, like abruptly, and then he was like, I can't make any comments on it, and they haven't made any public comments on it, and their court date's supposed to start, or something to deal with the actual like legality of everything is supposed to start soon, so they can start talking about it publicly.
Sure.
But it was a fucking like, I don't care what he did. The amount of money that guy's worth for your platform, like, unless he's, saying the most heinous shit you could ever think of, which, he does not have a large history of doing. It's just like, what could he have done that you guys were like, we're done with this guy? He's only worth estimated $1 billion for the next 5 years.
Only a little bit.
Only $1 billion for a fucking gamer. Like,
or what was it? Mr. Beast. I think I saw a report that Mr. Beast turned down an offer to buy one of his YouTube channels for $1 billion. He was like, "No way." Maybe if it was like 10 or 20 billion.
Yeah,
but not one.
I was watching that because he did a bunch of podcasts and stuff, and that was being talked about a lot. And they were like, "Yeah, they offered a billionaire. It'd be the youngest self-made billionaire."
It's
like
so weird because
Zuckerberg.
like you like it's funny because like there's so many things that video games and gamers have like so much about like technology and social media today that we are using it like derived or got its roots from gaming.
Yep.
Like I just saw today I was like looking at some like stock market news, and I noticed that a couple of the hosts like from like CNBC are doing their own podcast now. And I was like looking at their views, and I was like, they're getting like a shitload of views and everything. I was just like, the power is all flowing to the individuals, man. It's leaving the.
It's weird. It's awesome too.
It's weird, but it's also hard to like it's hard to believe that it's gonna be. Like, I get it. Like, I feel like the biggest of the biggest will continue to grow, but I just can't see a way where, like, it'll be huge for everyone, even though everyone's doing it, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, one of the things that I was very surprised about when I was attending PAX West and TwitchCon and talking with teams and, I was trying to set up deals and stuff for partnerships with ANG, and one of the things that I did not realize that bigger companies were looking for, like Intel and Razer and stuff, have been wanting to find They're like, we want small teams of unknowns. Like, we don't want... We've been looking for groups of people that play well together that aren't big. And we want kind of a grassroots style thing. And over again, I kept hearing this from big companies like Arc and like Arc Survival and, you know, Street Fighter was like, we want a team of unknowns. And the more I was talking with them, the more it was that they're just tired of dealing with, like, you know, the term diva got brought up a ton, where it was, you know, if you're really big, they're tired of dealing with you because you do have all the power, and I don't think they like particularly enjoy that in all cases.
But I think that's the point, is that like, I like it or not, this is the way things are going. And I mean, you could kind of like get on the bandwagon or just decide to like let it leave you completely, right?
Essentially, like, because there's no alteration to this thing. Like, like I was listening to a podcast yesterday, just about streaming in general and like whether or not it's how successful of a business model it can be for different like advertisers and things like that.
Yeah. And I just thought it was funny because, like, I mean, this is traditional gaming, right? Traditional gaming and streaming and all of that. And like the arguments that are now starting to come out are the same arguments that like the stuff we talk about in crypto all day. So like they were saying stuff like, you know, it's about if you're able to like generate a community, if you're able to be able to grow an audience to where the audience doesn't have to cut out the middleman. And you know, it's all the same arguments. It's just like
it is.
Like we're literally doing this in crypto right now, guys. Like this is happening.
Just hop on board with us.
Exactly.
Speaking of crypto, so a lot of people, we had a doozy of a week.
Yeah, we did.
I know a lot of people don't know what happened, don't understand the fundamental basics, so I figure let's break that down. What went on? Like, obviously, this is all speculation.
Sure. I mean, I've done quite a bit of homework, so I feel pretty confident in terms of being able to explain.
So the basic of, all right, so crypto market crashed big time. You know, for my understanding is due to Binance announcements and legislation.
Yes, exactly.
So what was the Binance thing? What is the legislation?
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't keep up with any of this stuff or doesn't know a lot of the technical stuff that's going on in the background, I figure we'll, you know, break it down, let you know a little bit, maybe have a better understanding of what happened and what's going on. But
for sure. So let's start, we'll start very basic, and then feel free to just whatever area you want to question on or push forward on, whatever intrigues you, we'll just go down that path, and then and if anyone has questions in the chat, we'll do that.
If anyone has any questions in the chat about the situation, feel free.
So let's start. Let's just go down the list. Okay, so we're gonna start with the who. There's two major players, and they're both individuals, and they're the leaders of their companies. Okay, so you have Binance, the largest exchange in the world, crypto exchange in the world, that's led by CZ, and FTX, which is led by Sam Bankman-Fried, which we'll call SBF for now.
Okay.
Okay, so they're the who's. Both them and their companies have been in a little spat, you know, about pretty much just talking about the position where they both are, you know, who's in a stronger position, who's not, so on and so forth. Now, the what of the issue is that what ended up happening was that apparently Sam Bankman-Fried and the company FTX got into a financial crisis that, in my opinion, started all the way back with the whole Terra Luna collapse that happened a few months ago. Remember that?
Yes, Luna. Yep.
Okay. From what I've been seeing, and there isn't a hard confirmation on this, but what I'm seeing is that the amount of damage that was done when Terra Luna collapsed, it spread to all different parts of crypto, and a lot of people went bankrupt. But there were some companies that were on the cusp of bankruptcy that they were affected extremely bad, but not enough to go bankrupt, but just barely. You know, like they're right there on the edge. Like they're living dangerously, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Now, this was a few months ago, and we know since that time, crypto has gone up a little bit and then retreated back down to where we were when the crash began. So the people that barely survived, it looks like FTX thought, hey, if we can weather this storm and make it through, we're going to be okay. But with this market turnaround, and especially with Binance and CZ literally calling them out on YouTube about the issues that they're seeing, it pretty much started a panic of
jumping ship
investors. Yes, of jumping ship. Unfortunately, not unfortunately. I don't know if it's good or bad. However you want to look at it.
Time will tell.
Right, but the crypto space, like in the crypto space, we spread communication so fast, whether it's on Twitter or on streams or like word of mouth or like in games or whatever, that everyone who was anybody started to hear that, hey, there's an issue here, and if you have your money in FTX, be careful. Okay. It turns out that theory, even though FTX denied it, it turns out that theory was correct. And a few days ago, over the weekend, on Sunday, I believe it was, it got to the point where the actual exchange, like their job as an exchange, is to hold your crypto for you while you transact with other people. That's all that's supposed to happen. But because of the combination of how crypto can be illiquid at times, right? So like, we have an item in Lost Relics that might be worth, 1,000 engine, but it only trades once every 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if someone really needs to get their money out of that item, from that item? Well, then they no longer sell it. Yeah, they no longer sell it at what it's worth. They sell it for a fraction of that because they want the money now. And when everyone does that all at the same time, then there's not enough crypto or liquidity for everyone to get their money out all at the same time. Exactly. It gets drained. Or the price falls so fast that the amount that you can recuperate isn't as much as it should be to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the main issue of what happened. There has been talk that it's very clear now that there is a discrepancy in FTX, that they are in the hole somewhere between $2 billion and $8 billion. And most of it is coming from the fact that they created their own token, the FTT token. It kind of is like Binance's BNB, where if you're a holder and you trade on their platform, you get reduced fees.
Okay.
So if we relate that to
actually.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the utility, right?
Yeah.
They're not a game, right? So they have to come up with some other type of utility.
Yeah.
And this is it. That you're a member and members get discounts. Okay. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The problem is that they used their own coin as collateral. So if FTX wanted to borrow money, they said, sure, like we'll lend you the money. Just give us some collateral, like to guarantee you'll pay us back. And they did, and they gave them FTX. Their FTT token, which they also can create on their own. Like they created it out of thin air.
Printing their own money. They have their own printing
press. They have their own printing press. And as soon as everyone finds out that they have their own printing press and their coin isn't as valuable because they can just
implode.
make, exactly. Then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened. People have been hoping that Binance would step in and pretty much buy the company, buy FTX, and all of those losses, those either $2 billion or $8 billion, whatever is owed, that Binance would pay it out of their own pocket to keep the business alive, and now they own the business.
That's
So
a hope, though.
yeah. So actually, this morning, I think it was this morning, Binance came out and said after review, we're not going to be buying the company because there's just too much shit going on. Because it's too big of a hole and it's not worth it, which makes sense. Like,
oh yeah, no, from the business standpoint, yeah.
Yeah, you're asking me to buy a bankrupt company, but you want me to pay full price for a bankrupt company.
Yeah, like that's not how this works.
Right, that's not how this works.
We wouldn't be Binance if we did shit like this.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of ramifications about what it could mean, but probably like the biggest thing that is going to be on everyone's watching list, if you're in any crypto, if you're in Bitcoin, if you're in Ethereum, you need to be at least paying attention a little bit to this, because if FTX goes bankrupt officially and they have to, and they don't pay back their customers, they don't give them back their deposits, then that is going to force.
Won't.
Right, more than likely won't.
Yeah.
Then that means all of their customers are screwed. And all of their and some of their customers are some of the biggest companies in crypto. So we have a contagion effect potential, where if FTX goes bankrupt, then that forces customer number 1 to go bankrupt, and number 2 to go bankrupt, and number 4 to go bankrupt.
And the dominoes start piling up.
And it happens all at the same time.
Yes,
all on the same day.
instantly too.
Instantly. Yeah. So that's the scary thing, and that's the reason why Bitcoin touched 15,000 and Ethereum almost hit triple digits, you know, instead of $1,000. And it's scary. It is scary.
It's like, but you know, I'm a long-term holder, and so you know, it's a bad day, but just another day in crypto. Like in the way that I've always viewed these things, but not everyone has these things in for long term. Like some people, you know, like crypto got a lot of people too, where we had this stigma of the get rich quick, and then that wasn't really how it worked.
So that's it exactly.
Like, yeah, you know, you've got all these fair weather traders, or you know, anytime like Bitcoin like coughs, like all of a sudden they're like, no, we're out of here. Like it's sick, it's dying, we're getting out of here. And it doesn't help that the major media just trashes on crypto every opportunity it possibly can.
Yeah, this is true.
You know.
Also, when you think about it, there's two different ways you could look at it. If you look at it in terms of fiat, then everybody is poorer today than they were yesterday. Okay, because you lost value in your crypto. But if you own 1 Bitcoin, you still own 1 Bitcoin, right? If you own an Ethereum, you still own one. Like it's relative. It's relative. The utility value, theoretically, of whatever you own didn't change yesterday.
No.
So, for example, I have a Godslayer equipped right now. The Godslayer could fall in price by 50% because Engine's price gets cut 50%, but the utility of the Godslayer stays the same. Nothing happened to the Godslayer. Still looks the same. Still does the same amount of damage.
Yep.
Still helps me on my event, right? So theoretically, nothing changed.
Theoretically, nothing changes either. Where even if you sell it, you know, you're only taking a loss when you cash out. So it's like if that's why I've viewed, you know, there's been tons of Shadowstone losses from sales, but the Shadowstone losses don't always translate to monetary losses, like
very true,
as evenly as they appear. Like, because 20 Shadowstones could be worth something entirely different in 15 minutes, technically.
Yeah, it's funny because in crypto, when you're trying to figure out, like, in monetary terms what was lost or what was gained, you have to do these conversions, right?
Yeah, you have to do some math.
Dollars to Bitcoin to an engine or whatever, right? And then back and forth. Exactly. It's a mind fuck. Like, it's crazy. Okay, but you know, it just depends again on your perspective. If you're looking at it from top down, it's crazy to evaluate. If you look at it from bottom up, it's a different story because it's the same utility. Yes. Very few things have changed. The same way, like, and I credit Ivana for this because she really helped me with my thinking on, because I talked to her a couple times about like, well, what do you think this item is worth, or like, how do you think items should be valued? Like, should it be engine? Should it be dollars? Should it be Ethereum? Like, what do you do, right? And for a long time, both of us had opposite opinions. I was on the opinion of like, hey, this game is in the engine universe, and I am able to earn engine from playing the game, so I should value everything in engine. Ivana was the opposite. Ivana was, how much does it actually cost me if I want to buy this thing right now? And what do I need to do to get it? And you have to put in dollars or your local currency.
So she would want USD conversions.
Right. She would want to know, is this valuable in USD? Did it go up and down in USD or not? And I would want to know, did it go up and down in engine or not?
Yes.
And both of us can have different opinions about the same number.
Yeah, the number doesn't change. It's just the delivery.
Right. So now with all of this happening, with all the news from the past couple days, I think I have officially, or I'm confident now that I'm going to be viewing Lost Relics items in terms of dollars now.
Okay.
From a personal perspective. So I am now switching my logic to Ivana's perspective, because of the craziness in the markets.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense right now when engine drops 50% in a matter of an hour. To use this method for valuation right now. It just doesn't make sense right now. Maybe during the bull market it did, which is when I was playing the most.
Okay.
But right now it's a different story.
I could see why the bull market would, Who cares about the dollar value? I want that actual engine value.
Yeah, and especially when everyone's thinking like, oh, engine's going up. Like, it's 75 cents right now, but it could be $5 in 3 months, and that changes your mind on. Yeah, it changes your perspective.
Absolutely.
The thing I would say that is really important is that because of this event, because of how big this event is, there's a high chance that we know for a fact it's going to get shit on in the news. Mm-hmm. We know that it's going to be a really black eye, and it's going to take time for people to actually trust crypto again that are not like actually doing research.
Yes.
So I kind of consider this like as a market reset. Okay. Like I thought Terra Luna was the reset. I was wrong. This is the reset. This and whatever smaller things come from it. Because I don't think there could be anything bigger. Like,
I'm interested to see
or something.
What ends up going with the ripple effect of everything.
Exactly. I'm now trying to like predict, or like I'm trying to like figure out like where does this story lead, and when does the story change? Like, when does it go from negative to positive? And there's no answer. We're just gonna have to watch it play out.
Yeah.
But the thing when I was thinking about like, well, what is the ship that turns around? What is the thing that turns it around? Like, what changes people's minds? And I was like trying to think of one, and it was really hard. And then I was just like, what if the answer is simple? What if it is just the onboarding of new people into crypto that don't have a history, or don't have a reference to the history of what happened,
or at least have a sour taste in their mouth from.
Right.
It's like if you lost all of it, it would be like screw crypto. Like,
yeah, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, this is over. And I could see that being a good metric to.
I agree. And on the flip side of that coin, if we're going to onboard people that don't have a reference or are new to the industry completely, then what area of crypto is most likely to do that? And I think it has to be gaming.
Yeah, 100%. I was gonna say gaming is the only one that makes a lot of sense because,
gaming and NFTs.
Yeah, a lot of the. I think it kind of sucks too because it's always like one step forward, two steps back when it comes with crypto's progression, in my opinion. Because it's like NFTs, in general are then treated as a joke because of like CryptoPunks and Board Yacht Club and you know, all of these non-utility, because I don't know how many people that I know that it'll be like, I do, you know, blockchain gaming, play to earn gaming, like with NFTs, and they're like, oh, like, who cares about some stupid digital picture? And it's like, I get that mentality, but it's like, the NFTs are just like, when I explain that it's like skins in a game, but I can now sell them again. You know, it's like, you play Apex, how would you like to be able to sell your old skins? And they're like, oh, that'd be sick. It's like, well, yeah, that's the NFT aspect. And it's like, oh, well, I thought they were pictures. And it's like, because that's what they're sold to the masses as. And, you know, as easy it is to look up any of this information, and I don't particularly find blockchain technology at its core super complicated. It's one of those things where it just appears that way to people, and that's it. Like, because, you know, it's like, how many people get their news and information that they're willing to argue online about after a meme? Like, it'll be like a meme, like, the president did this, and then they'll sit here and talk about it like they have any clue what the hell's going on. And then when it's like, well, what about this, this, and this? Be like, well, I don't know. I actually just got it from, I read the headline of of an article, or I saw a meme. And that's my knowledge on it. And unfortunately, like, crypto fights against a lot of that too, because, you know, we're viewed as this culty group of people, I feel like, to a lot of the masses, where it's like, okay, you're one of those guys, you're a crypto guy, or a blockchain bro, is like one that thankfully started to die down after the NFTs kind of tanked as like an art form, you know, like, you know, tanked, like, you know, if you still have a CryptoPunk, I think you're doing fine. But, you know, there was this section of time where like all these people are shilling NFTs for these like random projects, and then none of them actually have real use other than, you know, you just like the art. Or, you know, how many people are like, if I own a CryptoPunk, like, I could do whatever I want with it. It's like, not really. Like, it's sometimes true, but, you know, there's a lot of, like, I hate them, the Nike, not Nike, the NBA NFTs that they sell.
Yes.
Like, they're very popular, like, and they're worth quite a bit of money, but it's an NFT, like, it's a scam for anyone that actually is doing, because you can't do anything, like, you can't make money off of it and commercialize it because you don't actually own the commercial licensing to it. They still do. You just own the digital copy of it. And so there's like, there's these degrees of stuff that aren't commonly explained, and then we have these other examples that everybody understands and gets and knows about that aren't good examples of good uses of NFTs. Because, like, a CryptoPunk is a CryptoPunk. Like, I don't think there's any, like, just CryptoPunk's super value because a bunch of people said it was. Like, it doesn't do anything.
But
like,
but that's the point. The point isn't that, like, value is ascribed by human beings, right? Like, that's the point that people aren't seeing. That it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of work to understand what value means to the masses, right? Because so for example, I went to a memorabilia show, a sports cards, about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And there's a vendor there. He's a friend of mine. We mess with each other all the time. But I went over to his table, and he likes to give me a hard time because, like, a year ago, I told him that I was in crypto, and he just didn't believe in any of it, and he thought I was an idiot.
Yeah.
And whatever, right?
Like most of your friends, whenever you, like,
he speaks his mind.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. He speaks his mind. So I go over to his table, and he's like, hey, Cisco, how you doing? Like, how's your crypto doing? Like, as a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, how you feeling? You know, like that. Yeah. Exactly. Like, doing stuff like that. And then he says, like, did you get rid of it all? And I'm like, no way. Like, I'm holding on it. Like, this stuff is extremely
more because it's low right now.
I want to buy more. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know? So he looked at me. He's like, I wouldn't give you $50 for that stuff. You know? And then I look down at his table and I point at one of his cards, which was a Michael Jordan rookie card that he had. I was like, you know what? I'll give you $50 for that Michael Jordan. He was like, get the hell out of here. That's worth multiple $1,000s. And I was just like, but why? It's just a picture. Isn't my NFT just a picture?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that Michael Jordan rookie card is just a picture printed on cardboard.
I mean, that's
and then
exactly
all of a
how
sudden it was like, oh no, but this guy changed the world. This guy changed the sport. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, did you know that basketball is like the 12th most I think it was like 8th most popular sport in all the world. So like, don't come in here telling me that he changed the entire world. You know,
pretty sure the rest of the world would think Pele, would be way bigger than him.
Exactly. So like when you actually start to put some logic to it, and when you actually start to think about it in depth, which most people don't want to do, because the truth of the matter is we're not taught to learn this stuff in school. Like,
no,
I mean, we're not taught
all.
This stuff in school. Like,
not at all.
We're all learning it because we're forced to learn it because COVID hit, and now we have to learn how to figure out whether something's true or not true.
Yes, the misinformation that runs around now is horrible.
You know, 2008 happened, the financial collapse happened, and now we have to think about like whether or not like actual buildings, property, houses are worth what we thought they were worth.
Oh my God, that was like when I bought. It was right before the 2006, housing crash, and it was like I remember I had like a small inheritance from my grandfather, and so I was like, well, I'll buy real estate. I'll buy the condo that I'm in now. And it was like right after that, because I paid $138,000, and we just paid cash, like done, because this is just gonna this is gonna be a great investment. And then the next year it was worth $68,000, and it's like I've held on to it for so long because I just don't want it. Like I was always like, I'm fine taking a hit, but I wanted to get $100,000 out of the home. Like after closing costs, I don't care that if I lose, the 38 or whatever. And then, it's just like kind of so many other markets. You wait long enough, like people are now selling them for around 145 to 155,000, like the exact units of mine. And so it's like, oh, just, all I had to do was give it an old 10 years of waiting, but it came around. The truth,
it's true. It's true. And like, I mean, again, it goes back to the same type of logic we use in crypto. What's the utility of your house? The utility is you can actually live in it.
Yes,
right?
like
I can own a Picasso, but I can't I can't live in it.
Nope.
It has a different type of utility.
Nate Youngman, you won the NFT collection. Big congrats! Please post that Discord. Your timer has started. Sorry.
Get it going, baby. Post it. You got to get that. You got to get it.
And then I think we'll do that Band of Irem.
Yeah, we should probably check in with the chat too, because I know there's been a bunch of messages really quick that.
Yeah. Mine.
Go for it.
I don't have.
Let me see if I can find.
I have. Yeah. Here. Bromiga wants to know what is crypto, so I don't know if we really need to answer that one. Yeah. Who do you have over there?
Let me see. I got let's see. Okay, so some of these are going back to Lost Relics. Some of these are on. Let's see. Also, let's see. Canada's coming in and saying also there are things that crypto gaming companies have done that surprise even me. Taking a company's development budget and investing it into crypto. I've seen this happen like 2 or 3 times. I mean, again, one of the credits that I will give Cliff, because we're all going through this together, right? Like we're literally learning on the fly, and you have to answer some like really tough questions. Like when it comes to gaming, scholarships were the big thing, creating your own gaming token was the big thing. And, as a developer, I feel like Cliff jumped all those hurdles while everyone ran smack into him. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the concepts aren't correct, but maybe it's just how you executed on the concept is the part that's wrong. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do actually.
It's a tough one. It really is.
Because I mean, you never fully know either. You get the hindsight of everything.
I got one for you here. Locke's asking a question, and he says, this is going back to Lost Relics. He's saying, would you increase Shadowstone's price of a transcendent weapon if you were selling one since what happened yesterday. So in other words, would you change your prices if you're going to sell your Krong?
So
would you change the price based on what happened yesterday?
I have a different mentality. I would not, but I would use it as a metric to where I could actually sell it. And then I would hold the engine until it is at a point of where that's where I wanted it. So, like, I've always said that there's this duality that comes with tankings and situations like this where, like, so yeah, if I'm going to sell the Krong and it's market priced at 400,000 Shadowstones, if the market is down, I'm going to have potentially more people that could buy the item because they're going to view it as 400,000 Shadowstones is only the price of, let's say, engine drop 50%. That's the same as 200,000 Shadowstones from before. I always viewed it that whenever these dips happened, I scooped up more things or tried to get more expensive items because a lot of people do not adjust that and will still sell it. And there's more of a pool of people that can quote unquote afford it, I guess, because it's like the Krong is not $2,000. It's now $1,000. There's going to be at least, you know, a larger number of people that can afford $1,000 if they're going to do it that couldn't have afforded $2,000. And then I can hold that 400,000 Shadowstones until it equals out to a value that I would like. I don't think it's I don't think that I would be able to find, like, because it's like if you want to just unload, I don't know if you agree with this trigger. If you want to unload really good items, like if I wanted to sell my Krong and my Archers, it's like even with the market going down, if I then price it Krong at 800,000 Shadowstones, where it is going to be relatively the same cost as before the crash at 400,000 Shadowstones, people are going to just see the giant number, and I'm going to lose out on, in my opinion, buyer's remorse is going to come in where it's like, that's way too much. And where it's like, if people don't put this like duality in where it's like, if I don't change the price and it's 400,000 and someone's like, wow, engine's really down, this would be a great time for me to buy a ton of Shadowstones. I put $1,000 in Shadowstones in and I end up getting 400,000 Shadowstones out of it. It's like, oh shit, I can afford the Krong now. And I want to get rid of it. It's like, but I always view it as holding these things. So I always view the lulls as great times to sell and buy because my buyer pool is larger if I'm trying to sell a big item because it doesn't appear as expensive and I don't actually have to adjust much on it. And I'm not going to increase it because my game I'll be able to sell it for 400,000 a lot quicker than I can at 800,000, and I'm fine with holding the 400,000 until it's worth what I would have made at 800,000.
Yeah. So in other words, you're not even really worried about what the Lost Relics item is worth. I'm sorry. When you sell you're playing the price appreciation of engine after the sale occurs.
Yes, because I believe in engine. So when engine's down, it's just down till it's not, in my opinion. Like I believe engine will go back up to like $2. Like, and so me selling it for 400,000, I found an actual buyer and actually be able to sell it for a price that I want. Then I'm not like dropping it per se. And then I just wait until it's worth what I actually wanted it to get out of it. Because the hardest part is unloading it.
Like, so that you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, like, in all honesty, there's not many people that can afford to buy the Krong or the Archers. So that's your biggest challenge, is having them and wanting to get rid of them, is you have to find someone to buy them. Like,
this is true.
We're not talking about like a 4,000 Shadowstone thing. You're talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so your logic, I use your same logic, I just use it in reverse. So it just it goes back to a matter of perspective. So to answer the question, the first thing I did when I transferred roughly like 70,000 Shadowstones into the game like a few days ago, like before the very beginning of the event. Okay, before this news started really hitting. And once I started hearing this news and seeing the price drops, I immediately logged in and delisted everything I had on the market. I just canceled all my orders, everything. Okay. Now, I did that because first off, it's too hard to come up with like if I was just buying something like on a whim, you know, I was willing to take that order down because I know that the price from people's perspective did change.
Yes.
It just now I don't know if again which way they're looking at it, dollars or engine.
Yeah.
But regardless, to alleviate myself from doing all of that like mental loop jumping, like the way that I tend to look at it is, okay, the God Slayer or any other item is going to be, it's not going to change. It's still, I mean, it might get an update or whatever, but it's still going to be the item. So it's easier to predict what the crypto is going to do, which is why you say you would hold the crypto, wait for the appreciation because you believe in it, and then that's where you make your profit. I was like, that's legit. That makes complete sense. Now, using that same logic, I work at it from the opposite direction, which is when Ethereum hit $4,000, I started anticipating that, yes, I thought that Ethereum could get to 6,000, 7,000. I did. But I also thought there was a likelihood that it could retreat back down, right? So to protect that value, to protect that quote unquote gain that I made, I used the engine at the time to buy NFTs. Okay, so I'm paying for an NFT in a dollar amount that I'm happy with, but I'm paying it with engine that I anticipate will go down. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yep.
If I think engine's going to go down, give me the item now. Let engine go down, and I'll sell you back the item to get more engine, and then wait for it to go up, like you were just saying. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Now this is again coming from the perspective of crypto first, NFT second. And I think that's probably going to be the case for the next few years. But once a crypto game really does make it further than Axie was able to make it, I think that logic might start to change, and people will start people of that community will be interacting completely for years off of NFT. Will my NFT go up versus will the crypto its price go up?
Yep.
I just don't think we're there yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I can agree with. I don't think we're there yet either. God, that will be so amazing though when a game finally ends up breaking the glass ceiling on crypto gaming.
Yeah,
and I hope to God it's not EA decided to make NFTs in Warzone, and that's going to be the example. Like please don't be one of these like top dogs, but it's unless someone just makes a breakout runner of a game, it's hard to predict that other than the big boys eventually adopting it once they figure out how to get all of their, all the money into their hands.
So I agreed with you 48 hours ago. Now, again, going back to the idea of like markets crashing, people are losing faith. Who is going to come in and still adopt this thing, even though all this stuff is happening? And the only two answers I come up with are either people who haven't been here before, and it's their first time in crypto, or it's the major believers and the major companies that are willing to take the risk. And in markets that are failing, so like
BioWare
if you're
actually
EA,
move forward.
What's that?
Didn't BioWare actually move forward with talking about wanting to do NFTs? They were the first big AAA
I haven't heard
company.
any news on BioWare yet. I haven't heard any news on them.
There was one that was actually, I mean, they weren't EA, but they were a big company, and they were like, we're gonna be. I would
say the closest ones that are gaming companies would probably be Square Enix, Konami, and Ubisoft. Would probably be the one
I'm
in
thinking
the
of
running
instead of BioWare. The one that we really need, though, that we got hit hard as blockchain gaming community was when Steam rug pulled the whole just overnight. It was like, yeah, we're going to do it, and spent 3 months, like, putting out articles and talking about and showcasing some of these new NFT games that are going to be on there. And then they were like, and we're not doing that, and these games have been banned. And it was like, what? Like, what happened? Like, we need Steam. They would have been a great ally because people could just discover blockchain games instead of, you know, like it'd be 10
Instead
times
of the way
easier.
we're doing it
Yeah,
now.
instead of the way where it's like word of mouth is the best and only real marketing that goes into blockchain games, like, as a whole.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
I'm a firm believer that the moment that Epic Games said that, okay, Steam, you don't want to allow it, we will, was the moment that it guaranteed that Steam is going to put NFTs on the market, on their marketplace. The question is just simply when.
When is that? That's always been mine too. Was when are they going to do it? It was never a. They
and
have
even
to come around.
Even Microsoft like 3 days ago announced that they made an investment in Wemix, the creators or the blockchain that has a Mir 4 on it, which that's kind of crazy now because I was actually. I think my mind's changing, but I was actually really big on Wemix, and they just announced that they're going to create a stable coin, the Wemix, pretty much the Wemix dollar is what they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're using the same type of model that Terra Luna was using. So now I'm like, oh god, like either you didn't learn the lesson from Terra Luna, or you think you've actually solved the problem that they couldn't. And I don't know if it's a solvable problem. So
there we go.
So we'll see what happens there, but they're moving forward with it.
I mean, I'm glad anybody is, in all honesty.
To take a chance.
I mean, right?
Progress the field.
It's the future. It's so clearly the future. Like, just so clearly the future of gaming. And yeah, it's that companies have to share some. I mean, they don't even have to share money with us. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's so stupid. Like, Call of Duty, they would make so much money because the initial sale of the skin, like $20 for this skin, done, sold, purchased. Like, I buy it. You then are still playing the game, whatever, and then I then sell the skin to you. They take a small percentage, like, you know, just for facilitating it, like most games do, you know, just like Lost Relics with their marketplace. And then you win, because it's like Call of Duty's not selling that skin anymore.
Yeah,
so
you just
get
created
more
revenue
money
out of thin air.
out of something that was already done and sold and packaged, and you weren't supposed to get any more revenue out of it. And it's like, why is this a bad system to you guys, and why don't you want to implement it? Because it's a win-win for everybody. Everybody feels like my $20 is still $20 inside the game, which is all Call of Duty should care about. Who gives a shit if I end up being able to make $15 6 months down the road or whatever? Because then you get a new piece of that. If the thing becomes more valuable, you're going to be able to tax it a little bit more. You get all these old assets that don't stagnate and die out because they're actively being used in the community all the time. It's like, it's just a win-win across the board. And it's, you know, it's the...
but the issue is that, I mean, you're right.
Nature of blockchain in general, I think, is what they don't like.
Yeah, the fact that you take the power away from the traditional models.
Yeah, it's the scary, brave new world.
Right, it's a brave new world. It's the Wild West. You know, you're every man for themselves. In the meantime, but these tools, they're going to be fixed. People are going to make it's going to get easier and easier and easier. You just got to allow for people the time to innovate.
I mean, the perfect example is the gas fees themselves. It was like, how many networks? It was like Engine was like, or not Engine, Ethereum was like, you know, we're working on it. Like, Ethereum 2's coming. And they said that for, I don't know, like 20-something months. Like, Ethereum 2's coming. And so many other chains had already been like, all right, we're not going to wait. Polygon, Polkadot, Engine, all of these networks pop up that are like, we're going to have facilitation systems that are going to deal with fixing the gas fee problem. Yes, the security parameters aren't the exact same, but at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't have given a crap personally where, you know, Polygon is secure enough for me that I don't care that it is not as secure as Ethereum. Like where, you know, like, because that's pretty much the biggest downside to a layer 3 than a layer 2 solutions. Like,
Right.
is that the security parameters get easier and easier to hack, but it's like this metric of it's not that easy though. Like it sometimes I feel like it's packaged and sold as like, yeah, like I can just pick it up and be like, yeah, Striker's Polygon account, like boom boom boom, I'm in.
Done.
Like,
5 minutes.
yeah, it's
in
like
and
you
out.
still have to be really sophisticated to be able to get into these things anyway. And I would so much rather sacrifice the tiny little bit of security that comes with Ethereum not to deal with the gas fees. And how many years now has Polygon been going? Polkadot, like all of these other chains that have addressed Ethereum's gigantic problem. And, you know, here we were waiting. Like, I know Ethereum 2 did launch. I know that they were doing more than dealing with the gas fees. You know, they're moving it to proof of stake from proof of work and, you know, all of these different
Right.
metrics that did make it so it was going to take a long time. But it's like, given enough time and need, the community answers itself a lot of times as well. Like I said, like Cliff, even this is a great example of that in itself. The marketplace. Cliff spent time to build an entire marketplace that was internal, that was not originally supposed to be an aspect of this game for blockchains.
When the company that powers the crypto provided that solution for him, for us.
Like, well, wasn't it?
But it wasn't
right
good
after,
enough.
right? Like, too, because didn't JumpNet come like right after the marketplace kind of came? And and then it was like, yeah, it still was like, no, and it was a better one. And you know, where there's an issue, there's an answer. That, like, luckily in the blockchain community, you know, a lot of times they'll build them and do it out, which is also really cool too. The community, like, he didn't have to do that. How much time did that probably take him?
Oh gosh.
To, like, to program all of that, all to save us some money.
And then I think he did that right after the Easter crash. So he was fixing the Easter stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, geez.
It's like he's a go-getter.
But the truth of the matter is that, like, if you're not building in the space, it's really easy to just assume stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, and not live it. And if you're living it with crypto on the line, with money, with your livelihood on the line, like, the stakes get taken up to another level. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
And it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. Now, I think all these events that have happened over the past couple of days, I don't think that really changes the long-term picture. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. Ethereum's not going anywhere, and I'm sure one or two of the other layer ones.
Of my perception of how I deal with,
you know,
crypto.
But also maybe don't put all your money into crypto. You know, like, maybe be smart with it, kind of thing. You know.
I'm sure all of you have heard the term diversify. It's a good idea. Always hedge your bets. Perez says, I think it's easier to justify the risk, and it's an investment for the game to gather better material for the trading stuff. It makes sense for games to incentivize people to play their game. Streaming is so huge now that they have to catch that you have to catch the normal watcher's attention just as much as the person willing to stream. And then Blade Pro asks, what about the aspect of underaged gamers dealing with money and trading? That's true. That's a really good point.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
Didn't they rule that loot boxes were deemed gambling in some countries?
In some countries.
In, like, France, I'm pretty sure they did. Like, yeah, in certain countries they did. But it does bring up a huge moral conundrum, because it's like that was not an aspect when we were younger. It's like you weren't able to steal what was it? You could take mom and dad's credit card and then go buy an expansion. It's not like you could sit there and spend $9,000 in an hour on a game. Like, it wouldn't be physically possible back in the day. It's like, unless you're just going to be like, I'm going to buy 16 copies of Halo for no reason whatsoever. I'm just going to keep, because there weren't options for that, right? Like, there wasn't a single thing in a game where it was you could buy loot boxes. You could sit there and spend thousands of dollars.
My thing is that look, from the
I'm gonna be
from the
listening, but
moral
I'll be right
equivalent.
back.
Okay, no worries. From the moral equivalent, like the question here is underage children playing games in which there's financial value on the line. Is that, should that be allowed, or should there be protections? Okay, fair questions across the board. Fair questions. This is going to be something that the gaming industry and the blockchain gaming industry, we're going to have to grapple with. This is a question that all developers are going to have to ask themselves. The good news in the short term is that because crypto is complicated right now, it's a lot harder for children to be able to just be able to do the things that we're doing in games, just simply because of their age, right, and lack of understanding. But to play devil's advocate, I would say that you could easily make arguments that children are already playing games and spending money, playing games with financial aspects on the line by spending money on loot boxes or cosmetics or buying battle passes in Fortnite. Like, they're already spending this money. So in the the difference to me here is that at least in one scenario, they're getting more value by the fact that they have the ability to own something versus a license to a digital good, or the ability to resell the item and recoup potential gains or losses or whatnot. So like, the way I would put it is that this environment already exists. Crypto does not really make a difference here because kids are already playing games that involve money. And yes, crypto games are probably going to evolve much further than what we have in traditional gaming right now, and we're going to address problems as they arise. But yeah, no, like if I had a child, would I want them to be playing a game unmonitored that had this? No, absolutely not. Like I as a parent, I would like to take on some level of responsibility to make sure that any interactions that my child is having with crypto, I'm aware of. Right now, in today's world, it's impossible, right? You're not monitoring every time your child goes online. There are a lot of difficulties and a lot of questions, again, to be answered. But I mean, I think you can make a fair argument both ways. You can make an argument that studios are not providing the full value to your purchases, no matter your age. You could also make the argument that because games tend to have, addictive, or maybe not. The science on video game addiction is up and down, left and right, depending on what study you read. But like, we know there is something sticky here. We know what it. We know it exists. So there are risks that come with it.
Well, it's kind of because I know with the addiction aspect of it, I do know that you can find studies to support either causes, but I do know the one that always sticks with me is like, it's the reason why social media, I think that you shouldn't be able to actually use social media until you're of a certain age is because you get a dopamine rush if you get an item. You get a dopamine rush when you do something cool, and that in itself is that's how addictive behavior starts. Half the time is you get an actual physical response,
reward.
whether you realize it or not. It's like, why killing that boss finally, you're like yes,
yeah, it's the release.
It is a thing, but it's there's everything in life is like that. You can't malaise it over, because it's like sports. Should they not be allowed to play sports? Because you get a dopamine rush if you do good, and it's across the board with everything. So it does have the potential to be addictive. I think some people have addictive personalities, and so more kids would be prone to that being an issue, and some aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say any names here, but I personally know Lost Relics players that I have been involved in with multiple $1,000 transactions that unfortunately fell victim to the gambling addiction, not in Lost Relics, but like literally in casino games.
Yeah.
And lost a lot of money and dramatically impacted their lives.
Yeah.
And sold all of their Lost Relics stuff to feed the addiction, and disappeared for months on end.
Yeah.
Where we were all worried about what actually happened,
Like, are they okay?
Exactly.
That is a nice thing though too, and you don't get. I think that's one thing that's really nice about gaming is that, there's a community for almost everybody as well, where, thankfully we kind of grew up in an age where, like, internet gaming wasn't nearly as popular as, you and your friends come over and everybody's playing N64. You're in the same room. So you're like socializing and whatnot. It's like, thankfully, when the internet finally started to come around, it's like, I already had quite a bit of social skills and everything like that, but you then, you can find a community and a place in gaming for everyone, and it is still.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, I mean, first off, for the record, I agree with what you just said.
Yeah.
But to play devil's advocate,
always.
To play devil's advocate, I could easily make the argument that when COVID hit and all the children had to stay home and not go to school, what did that do to their social development? And then on top of that, there were doctors, psychologists recommending go play video games, because at least in that digital world, that digital environment, you get social interaction.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting on the couch,
Gamers were like, we'd been training for this for years.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. Because I don't recall too many kids like having the depression issues that seem to arise largely in the young adult community when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know my nephews were fucking annoyed they had to go back to school.
It's like, weird, man, because like the whole world changed with COVID.
Yeah.
Forever. The whole world changed forever. But now, and we're still not even removed from it. COVID is not going to go away. It's going to always exist.
Forever here. Yeah. It's just going to be a thing.
But like, we're acting like nothing changed.
Yeah. Or trying to.
We're trying to. We're trying to live in a world of disbelief. And that is causing issues, in every aspect of life, and it's crazy to go through. Like, what are the odds that it happened during our lifetimes? But it did, Yeah,
I never actually looked it up. I'd be interested to actually see the data on video game usage and profits before COVID, during COVID.
Oh, I can tell you already.
Fucking huge.
Oh, massive.
Like
massive.
Just huge, I would imagine.
Yeah, everything from gaming hours to gaming revenue to investments in gaming companies, everything through the roof.
Oh, I bet.
It is the new era of gaming, because what ended up happening is that because gaming during COVID got all of this attention, and all of this financial backing, it pretty much is like it paved the road, it planted the seeds is a better analogy. It planted the seeds for like the next 10 years of gaming.
Oh yeah.
Because all that money came in, people made all of these strategies on what to do, what is right, where are we going, what are we doing, and we're seeing it play out in front of our eyes.
I wonder, especially with crypto, how many years we advanced, like in social growth and corporate, aspect and financial backing. Like, I wonder how many years got fast tracked. Like, would it have taken 10 years to get to that without the event, without COVID happening and, causing everybody to have to alter and change? Because it was already on a very up and up trajectory before COVID, like gaming in general.
Yep.
It's like, there's stadiums are being sold out for gaming tournaments.
Yep.
And it's also just like real fun too, where, you know, if you're not super into like sports, let's say, you can go to, like, I had never been to anything like PAX or TwitchCon, and it was like, you know, people would be doing stuff, and there's literally a stadium of people getting hype over other people playing video games. Like, this is awesome. Like, you know, it's like, this is so cool. And there's so much like money put into the productions of them now too. It's like sitting there, like, I kept getting looks from some of the crew because I was like standing behind one of their command centers, just like watching all the gear and like everything that went into their production and like filming their like gear stuff. Kept like looking over, like, what do you want? Like, don't mind me. I'm not here for the games. I'm here to look at your cameras.
Rizzo knows what he wants.
It's like, have you gotten to go to any of the conventions?
No, not gaming conventions. Although, like, I'm not too far away from PAX South. I mean, well, I'm not too far away in Texas terms.
Yeah,
but
that's like 19 hours.
Yeah, no, more like
Texas?
I think it's not. It's 7 hours.
Okay, so it's like a
doable.
centimeter on the map for Texas. Texas,
well,
for some
I get
reason,
tired-
is way bigger than it looks.
I get tired after 7 hours, so it's right in that threshold where, like, oh, I'm here already.
Like,
Yay.
here we go. We can do this.
Yes, exactly. But no, I do want to go.
Yeah, we're going
Honestly,
to,
I want to go to GDC. I want to. Oh, there's so much, man. There's so much.
I'm really excited for the next one that we've got 2 in New York in March. One's PAX East, which we'll see how that one is. Like, PAX is not nearly as hype.
End of March?
I think that one is the middle. I'll have to actually check. But then there's also NFT NYC, and that was one I really wanted to go.
I have a sister in New York, so you never know.
I can.
You never know.
We can. There's always these roving. Like, the full team is never there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it will be, you know, like 10 of the team members are there day 1 and 2, and then 2 of them go home, and 4 know or show up that were able to come later. And so there's always passes that like aren't being used. Like, you have to give it back, but once you're, you know, in, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Well, who knows?
But, yeah,
who knows? I mean,
was
it's right near a tax deadline, but I mean, you only live once.
That, and you can get a you can get an exhibitor's pass, so you can just cut all the lines.
Watch out.
Yeah, no,
I might need.
We
We might need to do some more talking.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'll send you the dates if you're out there. I'll be like, yeah, because I know the last day is usually of every of the conventions that I work. I have an agreement with, you know, the company I've been doing most of them with. It's been like, yeah, can I do filming for ANG? It's like, absolutely. It's like, we want you to do like a day of filming for ANG. Because, like, yeah, that's how I started getting those jobs, was they approached ANG. We're like, hey,
that's cool, man.
We like what you're doing.
So, like, just to ask, I mean, you know, if you're comfortable, just to ask you a few questions about, like, so apparently, you know, you pretty much rolled your expertise, your credentials, your job into your passions.
Yes.
Right? Both with gaming and crypto and then work and providing a living.
Yeah.
And was it an easy decision for you?
It was, in all honesty, yes. I had been doing work outside of my expertise for some time at that point. And then when COVID hit, I had started to do work with haptics, that motion capture studio. I was helping to like build out the facilities in hopes of getting a job there. And then I ended up getting hired to help my buddy Justin on his production team at ARC, the blockchain ARC.
Okay. Yep.
which is what ended up being like we worked in the Market Square division, which was great too because it was like we were working on basic educational content for blockchain exposure and all of that. And so I got a crash course in blockchain because we were making videos about the basics in blockchain up to advanced stuff. So it was like I was getting paid to learn about blockchain at that time. And then they kind of were like, we want to do a gaming channel. You can do it. Because I had run like little gaming groups inside the company. And we would, we weren't streaming, but everybody was like meeting up and playing some blockchain games and chatting. And then when I got given Market Square Gaming, it was like I had been wanting to build something for a little bit of time. I just didn't know what. Like, because we launched other channels and did, film stuff and comedy sketches or just, movie trailer. Like, we tried all this random crap and it just kind of fell into my lap. And it was, I just like talked with my wife and I was like, I want to go all in on this and, give me 5 years and see what I can build. And just like, as long as the, the finances are there, go for it. And yeah, then just started
It's really
slowly
important to have a
building all
supporting
these things.
spouse.
Yeah, no, she'll
So big.
get on me where I'll be like, have you streamed like this week? It's like if I take like 3 or 4 days where I'm just not doing streaming or ANG stuff. It's like I'm tired from the day or whatever. It's like, well, you better get in there. I'm like, all right, yes, dear. I'll get on
Well,
it.
I mean, every relationship has their dynamics, but like that's actually a good thing to have.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because keep you honest, keep you straight on the path. But like, was there any time after you had that talk where you were like, oh, maybe I should back out or maybe I should change paths? Or
in all honesty, not yet. There have been times where I've been like, it's a lot of work. Like, it's so much work and there's no guarantee. And I don't have I've jumped around the past year with, contract to contract and stuff like that. And everything's worked out fine. But there's definitely been days where it's just like, good Lord, like, I'm going to have to keep this up for a long time. Like, and that's been the only times, but it's always just like, yeah, no, my wife will be like, shut the hell up. Like, go do your work. Like, is your pity party over? Like, you chose to do this. Walk the path and keep walking. And so, yeah, you get a kick in the ass about it. But I haven't had too many times where I just truly believe that blockchain gaming is the future of gaming. And gaming is something that's never going to go away. And that is proven to be an extremely lucrative industry. And
why do you believe it's not going to go away? Gaming in gaming specifically.
How I've seen things evolve and throughout different types of games, and it's such a leap forward of an improvement for the communities themselves, where it is not a leap forward for the companies at all, but the power's in the community. Like, it's like if everyone decided to stop playing Call of Duty, it's gone. It'll slowly disappear. The power is in the community, and it's just undeniably a better deal for us as gamers. It just, there's more risk in everything, obviously, but there's so much more reward. And I've never been afraid of the, like, if you go big and you bet big, you win big. Like, and, yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it's only, I've just never been one where the glass is usually half full. So even when it spills, it's still like there was something to be learned from it. Would I want to do this situation like again? No. But so it's even in all the dips, it's like I'm just strong. Like I just do not flinch at it. It's just another day in the industry because I believe the technology is better light years ahead of everything else that's going on, and it's only a matter of time until it works like the exact way that that the common users need it to. So it's like, it's not that complicated, but at the same time, if you ask anyone to do an extra 2 clicks, like in marketing, that is enough to destroy something. Like, and it's so stupid. It could be literally click here and click here. Done. Like, that's it. Like, as ridiculous as it is, the terms of service for some games, some of them started switching over to a model because their customers' satisfaction with dealing with it was 10 times higher than when you scroll to the bottom, it automatically assumes that you've checked the boxes. Just adding that had an actual return where it's like, who gives a fuck about any of that? But there's enough people that actually were like, I really enjoyed that. I didn't have to, like, the whole loading process. What did you think? They'll go do these surveys. And if they add something where someone didn't have to click twice, it's like, it was great. It was way better across the board than having to click 2 boxes. And it's like, people are weird like that. So the idea of being like, so I have to download an app and then link it to the game and then I get to play the game, like, fuck that. I'm putting Call of Duty. Like, I'm going to go load up Modern Warfare and then complain about Modern Warfare the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's like, people are weird. Like, so once someone's figured it out fully and it's just easy, because again, I don't think it's super complicated now, but you have to click 3 or 4 times. So,
but in order to figure it out, because you just said it, like, people are weird.
Yeah.
Like, in order to figure it out, don't you have to figure out people? And if people are weird, are you ever going to figure it out? You get my point?
You're, like, always going to be playing a game of catch up with the masses, because there's going to be a new way for the masses to think. I mean, it's like the idea of YouTube videos. Like, before it was 10-minute video. Let's go. That is your metric. That's what you're trying to get. That's what the algorithm wants, because that's what the people want. And then TikTok shows up, and it's like, all of the push now is, can you get someone to watch 4 seconds? Because before it was, I think it was 16 seconds a few years ago was the metric where it was like, your video's good if the average person watches 16 seconds of it, which was fucking ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, 16 seconds and you get a thumbs up, like, from the company, like, damn, you're doing something right over there. It's like the attention span of things has just diminished so much now. Like, shorts, we get all of our views for the channel from shorts. And it will be like, even there'll be ones that have, like, one of our ones from last week had, or 2 weeks ago, had 40,000 views in, like, an hour or something like that. But even then, it's like, it was a 7-second or 8-second thing. And then a majority of people were watching it for 3 seconds, but still engaging and giving a thumbs up or a comment. And it'd be like, you watched 3 seconds of it, and you were like, fucking great, done, next. And you go into this thing, and it's like, that wasn't the metric before. Like, it was slowed down a lot more. And so now the 2 clicks is a big, big deal now. Where, because if the average now good video response is, did someone watch 4 seconds of a video?
Well, what if you do? What do you do if, what if it really is more beneficial for people to do 4 clicks? Like, what if it really would help people more if they really just did 4 clicks? But then how do you convince people to do that?
That's the thing, is it's like, you have to, that's the number one question, right? Like, that's the thing. If you figure that out, how to make it worth it for them to do the clicks. And that's the one that's so annoying, though. Like, because, yeah, it will be like, I have friends that will religiously play Diablo and literally be like, I'm so jealous that you guys actually, like, can keep and sell, and, like, high quality items are worth high quality money and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you can too. It's like, nah, dude, it's so complicated. It's like, it's not. Like, download the engine app, go to the website, put money in there, like, and then it's like, yeah, then you have to go to an exchange, move money to that, and then, because I'll even set up to where it's like, just turn on an engine wallet. I'll send you the money and, like, a starter pack of items. That, because I still have, like, longbows and criminal katanas that are on chain. for that reason. That I'll like
Yeah.
activate people outside of a raffle, and I'll send them those things. And you know, it's usually a special circumstance because you know, I'm paying gas fees then. But
Granted, I mean, to be fair, I mean, you're paying these costs. You're paying these costs to onboard players out of pocket, right? And you're
Yes.
doing it. You're doing it because, I mean, obviously you believe in the project, but you know, you're also doing it to help, you know, build ANG and build
Yes.
you know, your path forward, right?
absolutely.
What if there was a way, what if there was a way to where both could be accomplished at the same time, but we were able to reduce that cost and that burden, you know?
I mean, yeah, that's because I mean, that's what since ANG had, I think, 3 months or maybe 4 months of minor funding that was given, but like the majority of everything that's been paid for with ANG since it became ANG over Market Squared has been my money. And it's an investment into building something. Because, I mean, it's like, yeah, I never deny that it is a mutually beneficial, like, relationship.
Sure. I mean, that's the way it needs to be.
That's the only
right?
way it can be. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you wouldn't
unless
want one side to abuse the other one, right? You know?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'll do these things because I believe in this project, I believe in this chain, and I truly believe in this community. That was always something that was like a big hitter for me with Lost Relics, was the community just lacks toxicity in all forms. Like, we'll joke around with each other, give each other a hard time, but no one's mean or cruel or, you know, there's not these rude cliques, I guess, is like, and I've always really, really respected that about this community in this game, which is why I also pumped more money into it. It was like, because the higher-ups when I was at Market Square, they all thought I was out of my mind. It was like, because we have connections to Axie Infinity and Splinterlands and, like, all the other top games. Which, you know, I had conversations with all of them and everything like that. And it was like, if you want to build a blockchain gaming channel and you have funding, why the hell wouldn't you put it into the largest communities to gain the quickest response? You know, it's like me spending $15,000 in Lost Relics over, you know, the course of Market Square being there. The fellowship and return, like, of numbers, like on paper, is like horrible in comparison to what you would have gotten doing $15,000 in Axie. Because, you know, you have 70-something thousand active players daily, like, on those things. But
how would that
community was the reason why I chose to pump that thing in, because I was like, who cares about that? Like, because when you run giveaways, I understand that it's a pump and dump synthetic thing where, you know, it's like, I give away a good item. Oh, look, there's, you know, 30 people. I gave away a crappy item. There's 20 people. But you find this loyal group in there. Like, it's, yeah, you don't have to run giveaways, and it's not like everybody leaves then type of deal where,
right,
which does come with giveaways, but at the same time you find this good community. And that was part of the reason why I wanted it with Lost Relics, because I was like, I guarantee that if we decide to go to a different game and it's a worthwhile game, the community will still support us and check it out or mingle with them or still watch the stream, even though it's not a game that they're playing, because they're legit.
I agree with you 100%. I think that I had a question based on what you were just saying right now about, like, you know how you were saying right now, like, the amount of, you know, finances invested, you know, for the impact you want to have in blockchain. And you were like, well, you know, depending on the audience, you know, you could do better performance in one area versus another. And I get all of that. But, like, how do you think that compares to just a traditional gaming YouTube or a channel?
Yeah.
not based on crypto? Like, is it the same equation? Is it the same? Is it the same? Like,
No, I think it's it's much more of a yeah, it's something that I've like thought about a lot actually because I've always said that there was a reason why the focus was blockchain gaming and kind of have stuck with that where it's like some of the streamers will stream other games that aren't blockchain, but they'll primarily be streaming blockchain games. So I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be streaming non-blockchain games strictly because I've always said, like, how do you make a dent in that pool? Like, where it's like in blockchain
what makes you
gaming,
unique?
yeah, I mean, because it's like in blockchain, the most popular blockchain only streamer has around or under, but are very close around 100,000 subscribers or like followers. Crypto
Who's
Stash.
that? Crypto Stash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he does only that. Are there much larger people that do things with blockchain and crypto? Yes. But only doing blockchain gaming, like nothing else. He's the biggest numbers on YouTube. And it's like, you know, we're getting close to hitting 2,000. So it's like we've hit 2%, let's say, of what, like we're over 1.5% of the, if 100,000 was the viewers.
So 100,000. Okay, tell me the numbers again.
So
100,000 is the top.
Is the top. And so we have almost 2,000 now. We have like 1,860. So we'll have like 1.8% of that, like, because I would assume that that's where most of the community is. Blockchain gaming isn't super large, particularly with streaming. So if he's got 100,000, we'll just use that as the goal metric for the whole thing. How many people do you need to follow you to get even 1% in traditional gaming? Like, because the top person's what, like 200 million, like, followers? You know what I mean? Like, where it just seemed like the time is now. It's like you're in California right before the gold rush. It's like, let's just keep panning out here, even though everyone says I'm an idiot, but I'm slowly finding nuggets here and there before the big boys show up. Because it'll be like when the big boys show up, I would hope that a large number of those communities would then be like, who has already been in this space? And then maybe your name comes up. Like,
do you think that the audience of blockchain gamers that are willing to watch content is large enough to where multiple streamers or content creators could break the 100,000 easily? Because you were saying right now 100 is the top, right?
Yeah, 100 is
so like
the top.
I guess my question is, like, how difficult was it to get to that 100? How difficult do you think it was to get to that 100? And do you think it's repeatable?
I think it's very repeatable, and I think that it must have been really difficult depending on initial funding. Because if, like, you had, like, if the Market Square team was all promoting the channel, the response would be 10 times more. Like, when Market Square was born, like, if you remember on Halloween, we had 154 CCV average, and we were peaked at like 170 something of viewers, of live viewers, where when the team wasn't around, the most that I've cracked has been around like 50 CCV, and then maybe 60 something top.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, if you have a full team, a full court press, everybody handling everything, you're going to be able to grow significantly faster. And depending on your connections.
Sure.
We have our winner.
Oh, we got another winner.
Sebastian, you got yourself a band of Irem.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
buddy.
Legendary giveaway.
But we can do a epic one too after that.
Very nice. Very
But
nice.
yeah, I mean, it's. I just think it's the time to be getting the foot in the door and be somewhat into the space, because I think there's a much larger likelihood of when larger people come into the space and bring their huge communities, you'll likely stick out more because you had already been in the space. Like if some big gamer decided to then come play Lost Relics, no clue who we are, but they would know us because we've been in the space. You get what I
feel
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. You have to lay the groundwork in,
yeah,
to be able to reap the benefits later on.
And I still, like I said, I really do believe in my bones that blockchain gaming is the future, and so why not start like building something for the trend before the trend has come? Like if you know it's coming, get ahead of the game and build everything that you can in that space beforehand.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
Like, yeah, what about like Strike Team games?
So to be honest, like I actually came up with 2 different ideas that I wanted to launch at 2 different times, and both times, for one reason or another, I was dissuaded from pursuing it.
Dissuaded by yourself, or
one of them by myself, because I was like, no, the timing is not right now.
Mm-hmm.
For the time and effort. And then the other one was just a family event, life event, that it was just
Fair.
like, okay, look, there's no way,
and it's a
family
lot
first
of work.
kind of thing. Yeah, it is. It really, really is, and it's draining, and it can have really high highs and really low lows, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you completely that building, especially right now in a bear market, building is the key. But like for me, it's always been like I agree with you completely that this is the future. There's no question in my mind either. The question for me is just, in that future, where do I see myself being able to provide, the best, to be able to do the best that I can possibly do. Like, my expertise obviously is in the finances and the taxes and the accounting and the business part of it, running an organization type of thing. But I mean, I also know that I'm a good speaker, and obviously like to stream, and so like there's different avenues. Like one of the ideas was when the gaming guilds were hot and everyone was launching their own projects, like following in YGG or Merit Circle's path.
Oh yeah, that was YGG.
I had all the legal paperwork drafted, prepared to file, ready to go, and I held off. And that was the one when I chose it myself, because I just didn't see. I saw how the importance of what gaming guilds can be in this space, but I didn't see a way right now to make it like survive to be successful without just blind luck.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. Sometimes maybe it just is you have the gumption to be able to take the risk and try to get lucky.
Yeah. I mean, there's been so many random opportunities I've gotten just from, I guess, like either luck or my biggest thing was I've just learned, like, just do it or ask. What's the worst that could possibly happen for random stuff? It would be like deals on items. It'd be like, I would never have asked for it that cheap. Be like, well, why not? Like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, and then you just change it. Or asking, it was like you, when I first, it was like, I'm some nobody in this community. I've got all of 20 people following a page, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Striker? you're clearly a big deal. Like, will you do an interview? And just like, yeah, sure. And it's like that helped launch the credibility of like.
But the truth of the matter
at that time, and it's like
the truth of the matter is, and especially when we first met, like the truth of the matter is like it goes back to what you were saying about community, right? Because like before I really knew you, for me it was just like, okay, look, here's a brand new player to Lost Relics that I can help out, and I can help teach him some of the basic ropes. The same way that you the same way that you made a comment earlier about like that you keep some of the uncommon weapons and
the little starter packages.
Exactly, starter packs, exactly, so that you're helping that process happen, right? And that's like natural, that's organic, and that is something that like this community brings forward that exists because the game exists, even though the game doesn't necessarily require you to do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like some special concoction where it's like something worked really well. Because it's like the game, it is the game, and it is also the community around the game. But it's like there's some weird duality to it.
Yeah, like, and it shifts and it changes, you know, with time. And it will continue to change. My thing is more along the lines of like, you know, just even watching a little bit of your content, watching you in the very beginning, especially with what you were wanting to do, like was just like clear, like, hell yeah. Like this is someone that wants to like support the community, that is willing to do the work out of their own, you know, out of their own free will. And it's like, you're going to say no to someone like hell no. Like that's exactly the kind of people that you want in a community. Those are the backbones of communities. You feel me?
Oh yeah. I mean, and that was, I mean, you're the exact same example of that as well, where it's like you were giving back the same reason why you're like, hell yeah. It's the same thing going back with you too, because it's like, how much coaching and teaching did you do with items and shit, where like I'd sit there and just like bug you with questions like off stream, like, you know, like we're not doing something like actually like that, just setting like, what items should I get, what's a good price to pay for these things.
You know, the thing is that like I was actually learning from you too, because like you would make a comment about like, well, yeah, people are using this relic, but why would you do that when you said, you know, do something else?
Yeah, why not?
And I was just
one?
like, oh shit, he's right. Like I didn't really think of it from that perspective, you know, or things like that. Like, you know, it's the, I don't know, maybe we were theory crafting or however you want to put it. But
yeah,
like,
no, it was working. It still does.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So what, what do you want out of streaming? Like,
I mean, right now,
like is it just because you like, because just liking it and doing it is enough?
Yeah. In the beginning, to be quite honest, in the beginning was just like especially during COVID, right? Because like I started Lost Relics when COVID hit, so locked in the house, no social interactions, like being able to interact with the community, and like I don't know, like just because like when I got started, like I was talking to the people like Kenzie, and I was talking to like the players that were like already like, you know, wielding transcendence and doing stuff, you know, and like pushing to see who can go further in terms of all the challenges, you know, and all of that. And we were doing the same exact thing, and then buying and selling and trading and everything, right? But it was the same type of process. My thing was that like I realized, because like what I started to see was I saw Kenzie start streaming, and the fun he was having with the community. I was like, I want to do that. You know? I want to have a good time. So I started streaming too, right? And what ended up happening, I mean, just like what you said, like streaming, and if you really wanted to build something in this space, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. Yeah. Right. So for me, it was like, okay, look, I'm going to put in I was streaming, I don't know. I was streaming 4 hours a day, minimum for, you know, five times a week. Like it was ridiculous. Right. And it is time consuming, but I made sure that every time that I needed to take a break, whenever I was done, I made sure that if I wasn't streaming, I was there talking to the other streamers to help support them, because I felt what I knew what they must be feeling, because I had just gone through it.
Oh
right?
yeah, that
Like,
and
the
someone
hours.
engaging in your chat is makes the streaming 10 times easier. Like for just talking, you know, because if you're like talking and no one's engaging in the chat, it's like there's a lot of streamers that just don't talk, like unless someone says something or something happens.
For me, like, because you asked, like, what do I want to get out of it? And the truth of the matter is that, like, right now, what I think the basics, because of where we're at in the market, because we're in a bear market, it's going to take time before the next cycle. You know, it's going to be harder to get, you know, new players into games, new players watching streams. You know, it's just difficult right now. It's just that's just the way the cycle works.
Yeah.
But because of that, like right now when I'm streaming, I'm more thinking about like, hey, look, what is my reputation in these various communities that I'm talking to, and like how can I continue to be, you know, part of the conversation? Yeah. How can I help keep pushing the story forward? Now, if my I don't want to say true skills, that's not right, but like if my areas of expertise are needed in the future, where like, you know, whether it's financial or consulting or whatever, like, yeah, I want to be able to be around so that people know that there is a source of
like reliable.
There's a reliable source of information that can give opinions that you could use, you know, to better your projects or to better your own, you know, ecosystem.
Okay.
Like, you know, if I had a dream job in gaming, it would be Phil Spencer. It would be the combination of it would be the combination of you know, the financial aspect of running an organization or running a company, mixed in with the like trying to predict what the future holds and how to best create a path to get there. You know, and that part about like what the future holds and creating a path, like that's the easiest part right now, because we see the potential in crypto.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, the hard part is that like, hey, if you're going to put in, you know, if you're going to turn it into a part-time job, really, you know, how are you going to be able to sustain yourself in the meantime, make it worth it for not only you but the people that enjoy your content or whatever product you were to make, you know?
Yes.
And it's a hard question to answer. Like, I know what I bring to the table, and I just I just know, because of the way that you have faith in where it's going, the same way I do. Like, I just know at some point in time there will be an opportunity will present itself to take it to the next level. Yeah. And in the meantime, just making sure that I'm informed, that I have like well-reasoned opinions, and that I'm able to discuss like these topics critically, either with players or developers, so that when the time comes, I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
You know, to make the switch. And if that time never comes, and hey, I streamed for a long time and I got a lot of viewers and that became a side thing, then great. Like, then that's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
But it's more about just trying to set yourself up for success when the future time comes.
Yeah, I totally respect and agree with that. You know, you're sitting there hedging your bets, I guess, is the best way that I would describe as what because it's like that's exactly the reason why we covered 37 or 38 blockchain games in hype watches. It's like there's all these games, we don't know if they're gonna come out, we don't know if they're gonna be any good. Like, it's just hopes and dreams. For 90% of these things are not playable at this point in time, but we're gonna do a wide casting net so that when these games start to become playable, or if they do, we will show up early on. Like, so that's how metalcore found us. Was no one was making any videos about metalcore, and we made a video about metalcore, and they then went on YouTube, and one of their like marketing managers or social media managers was like, oh hey, like this group made this video about our game. Like, no one else has made a video about our game. It's not out. And we just, you know, read a couple articles, went to their website, learned a little bit more about it, and then took their footage and recut it, and then made the video with it. And they were then like, oh, hey. And, you know, like.
But you're also building a reputation while you do that, too.
Like, so
that is valuable.
That's been part of it, too, because it's like A&G was more or less is a marketing company at its core. Where it's like, I stream because I really enjoy streaming. But it's like A&G's supposed to be a hub for streamers and content and blockchain projects and stuff. It would be ideally where it's like, I have a team of people that stream. Eventually, we'll have someone in charge of managing all the streamers and making sure all the day-to-day facilitations of all that is going on, while I'm sitting there trying to meet with larger parties and set up other deals and get exclusive access to other games for the rest of the group. Where it's like, I enjoy streaming, like, which is why I do it. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to directly become a streamer from A&G, which is why it's not Spizzo Gaming or, you know, something that's monikered to myself. It's this broader thing where it's like, I could leave and someone could still technically run A&G. I'm not going to leave, but it's like the idea that Spizzo Gaming would die the second that I was no longer a part of it. Because it's like, how are you going to do that? Like, with the name, you need something a little bit more ambiguous.
Sure. No, I get you completely. Like, for me, I've always been the type that, I mean, I work well with others. Like, I'm a team player. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to, like, you have to find a team or a group of people that, like, it just, the trust has to be there, right?
Yes.
And when that trust is there, like, you can really build something special.
Oh,
but,
hell yeah.
You know, if you don't find those kind of people, or you don't find the right setup, you know, it's okay to do it by yourself too.
Oh yeah, no,
but
100%.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that for anyone. If you want to go get it.
For sure. I just think, oh man, it's just so hard to know where this is, which way gaming is gonna go.
Right.
You know,
which way is up?
which way is up?
It's like.
Which way is up?
But yeah, I mean, ideally, like, because A&G, like, one of the goals that I was trying to do with Market Square that I've been able to do a little bit more with A&G, we haven't moved to the next echelon yet. But like, eventually YouTube will be having a management program internally for their partner programs, so I'd be able to hand out stream codes that weren't master codes. That would be like, you're approved for this day and this day. And so the idea would be that, because if you remember me talking with you, like, the last year when it was Market Square, my goal was to eventually build a team of streamers to where it's 24/7 on, like, you go to Market Square if you want to watch blockchain gaming. It may not be the same game that you want, but it will be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Someone will be streaming on there, and you just can go there and learn about these people's personal brands and learn about their schedules that are on there. And, you know, it's changed a little bit to that where I would, like, you know, we have it set up to where technically a stream a day could get released, an old stream. But it was, you know, it was always to build a team of people, because, you know, Justin and I have had this joke for a very long time from Planet of the Apes, where he, like, breaks a stick and then he grabs a bunch of sticks and he's like, apes strong together. And it was like, yeah, like, so, like, whenever we have some random thing, we'd be like, and then we can get a group of people that we can help while they help us to do that. And it's like, yeah, apes strong together, like you're thinking. And that's always been my thing, like, you know, like, all for one, one for all. Like,
I got you.
Why not put
for
all
me,
of our eggs in the same
it's always
basket?
been. For me, it's always been. I'm going to be honest. There's always been some fear for me at least in this area, when it comes to building. I mean, the reason I called it Strike Team Games because I wanted to build a team too. But my thing, one of the issues that I keep coming across is that like I'm willing to take risks that I feel bad about others to. I feel bad asking others to take the risk alongside me, because I know like I'm willing to probably take more, I guess, quote unquote, losses than most people. Because for me, it's always been about like longevity.
I mean, that's been mine. Yeah.
The same way, because like people have always commented stuff like if I bought an item and it went down in price, they're like, oh, you got wrecked. Like, are you like, what are you gonna do? Are you out? Are you done? I'm like, no, bro. Like when I bought this, it wasn't because I wanted it to go up or down. It's because I wanted to see where this thing was gonna be in 5 years.
Yeah.
But I know not nobody, but I know that a very small percentage of people are willing to take the time to make that kind of argument, like to where I wouldn't even consider selling until we get to year 4, 5, you know?
Oh, same. Like, yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, and I mean, that's like also, yeah, like there's a pretty large price tag on NFT investments, particularly with ANG in this game. And it's something where other people aren't gonna take a huge risk with any of that, and that's kind of like why there's these like these points where at least with the ANG members and stuff, it will be what do we want to do moving forward?
That's always the question.
And
what do you want to build? What do you want to build towards?
Yes.
That's always the hard question.
Luckily, it's wins that has come up the very few times. Every time it's like, well, I'd like to do some level of it, like, let's say I now have an item that needs to be sold. Doesn't need to be sold, but it doesn't need to have any use anymore for the person. And it's like, do we sell it and then what do we do at that point? And it's always been an agreement where it's usually like, well, maybe get something else to me, and then I don't know, maybe use some profits for giveaways or put it into someone else that's like part of the team for funding. And it's always worked out, but it's also it didn't always work out with everybody that was sure. picked. And so there's been cultivation of a team, I guess.
Sure. And it's never going to be 100%, right? So,
no, I mean, yeah, it's dealing with people. People can make weird, fickle decisions.
Yeah. So like right now, I guess from my perspective, when the question is asked, like, what do you want to build? Like right now, what I think of is just like, I want to help progress the conversation about how this space is growing into the future. I want to be able to I would like to have a voice in the conversation about why things should build out certain ways, why they, what are the pros, what are the cons, how do you make it successful, what is doomed for failure, where is it worth the risk, because we could fail in doing anything, but like,
absolutely,
if it's worth the risk, that's the part of like trying to figure that out and doing that work. So in the meantime, for me, it's more about like, look, put your thoughts out there, be open with your opinions, let people be able to cross-check you and help, like the same way like Ivana's helped me change my perspective in terms of evaluations on items. And like, I don't know, to be fair, like a year ago, I would have never assumed that I would have changed my mind.
Oh yeah, no, when we've talked too, where it's like, I like when the devil's advocate and stuff gets played, because I personally enjoyed the exchange of differing variations of ideas or ideas entirely. Because I'm constantly learning from everybody else all the time.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to promote this space as much as possible because of the future I believe in. but I also want to be realistic. Like I want to be comfortable enough not only with gamers but with developers to be able to say like, hey, when a project doesn't have it, it doesn't have it. But
Yeah.
here's the reasons why I believe so, and you know, check me if I'm wrong. You know,
that was something that I particularly changed, that I had talked with like some of the A&G streamers, where at Market Square it was, if we were going to test a game or something, we were always told that, or like I wrote some article reviews of games and they got rejected because I was like too harsh, and it was always, yeah, you can't say bad things about it. And it would be like, but what if there's bad things to say about it? Like, do we want to be trusted, or do we want to be like just a corporate cog for propaganda, essentially? Because it's like, if there's a clearing problem with the game and I'm reviewing it, why do these keep getting rejected? And it's like, because like you don't have to invest. And I'm not like, this game sucks. Like, it'll be like, the game severely lacks in this department for these reasons, and like it's very professional about the way that I'm like writing things. And over again I get these things denied. And then if we did something, like I was warned about talking ill of a game when I said that it definitely has some room to improve in this part in one of the streams. And then like some person like was like, hey, like enough of that. And it was like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no point to any of this then. Why don't we just tap dance up here and like hand me a script, like, then, okay, if that's what we're gonna do here. And when, Market Square left the picture and I got ownership, I was like, when we do go into games, I'm like, I don't want anyone dragging it through the mud. If it's a bad game, that's fine, but there's a tactful way to say it's bad and there's a not tactful way to do it. And it's like, we want other developers to work with us, but we also want viewers to always trust us. And so it would, it was like, this game's a raving piece of shit. Like, no, we're not going to say something like that. It'd be like, the game, like, it's not for me, and it needs a lot of room to improve in this section for this reason. Like, legitimate.
Or here's
shit.
what I'm not playing it right now, but here are the things I'm waiting for. And if that were to happen,
there was always the compliment sandwich was another like version of it, where it's like, say something decent about it, give it some harsh critique, end it with something hopeful. It's like, it doesn't, and don't lie, like, but we don't need to, be like, I'm never going to play this game again. It's the worst game ever. The developers should quit life. Like, none of that, ever. But I hate it at Market Square, where it was like, you can't even say that it needs to improve. Like, you just have to talk about what you like. And that was, like, what would get told. It'd be like, if I'm writing an article, like, it'd be like, what did you like about it? Just talk about that, then. I'm like, it's a review. Like, what... I'm just going to leave out large sections of the game in a review that anyone else playing it is going to be like, kind of, what the hell about these things? It's like the Six Dragons. Like, really, really enjoyed that game's potential, and really, really enjoyed that game's in-game rental minting system. Thought that was awesome. And the fact that it was 256 square kilometers large every time. Like, that's freaking massive. But it was it looked like it was Nintendo 64 graphics. Like, the graphics are really not good. And it's like, that's not a horrible thing. Like, people like retro.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's not, the graphics are there for everyone to see. It's not like you're, you know what I mean?
It's like, I would then get told, like, you need to drop this whole thing section about the graphics. And I'd be like, but that's the first fucking thing that anyone's going to see when they play it. And I'm not going to bring up that it looks like it's from 1999. Like, which is fine. Like, you can say it nicely, but it would be like, no. You don't even bring that up. You talk about something else. Talk about the portal swirls, because those are cool looking. The portals are very cool looking in that game. But yeah, it's like, I didn't think the game was bad, and I didn't give it like a scathing review. I said it's got a ton of potential. It just needs some work in certain departments, and It's like, no, you can't do that.
It's fair. It's fair criticism. It's fair criticism. You know, but it's also it's tough because developers, man. Honestly, like the thing that I keep seeing right now, especially with the crypto games, is just that like because gamers are so vocal, and because developers are so much in the minority.
Yeah.
It just I feel like the actual like art and craft of really making a good game is lost because we get wrapped up in these conversations that from the developer's perspective aren't important. Like we talk about like if we were to criticize like if I were to say about Lost Relics, like why do these NFTs not have any utility? Like there's no you know, it's just a resource. It doesn't have an effect. I can't use it as a weapon. It's just an item. Like this is like the game should never allow players to find stuff that, you know, like you can make criticisms left and right, but then as a developer, like if Cliff was here, he would just be like saying like, yeah, that's because I haven't got to building that part of the game yet.
It's like,
you know,
don't worry.
And it's like
coming.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I think gamers need to understand a little bit more of the development side of it. And me too, as well. Like I'm learning as I go, but like, if there's a way to like mend that gap, you know, or at least be able to share information in a way where people feel like it's a fair representation of what's going on, and then let them make their own decisions. You know, you don't have to agree with me just because I say it. Like, as a matter of fact, I want the opposite, you know?
No, I just like if you don't agree, then yeah. But yeah, I do think too that there's like we just like briefly said it earlier where you brought up that, you know, I haven't been part of playing a game as it's being developed. And that's like a whole nother idea of that whole disconnect from the developer to the community. Because like, how many people do you think have tried to come into this game, played it for a week, and then left thinking that that was the game? Like, yeah,
but even like more than that,
the game.
Even more than that, what about all the gamers that I heard like, you know, it doesn't have to be this game. It could be Axie or whatever. Like, trash the game and say, I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm never going to play this again. Like, this is horrible. And then 6 months later, they're logged back in.
Yeah, no, that's just...
You know, so I'm just like...
I saw that a lot. I remember when I was managing in the service industry. It's like all the time. People would be like, I'm never coming back here. And then you'd see them like a week later. They're like, oh, why, hello there. Look at that. Not much else out there, huh? Like, yeah, it's like kind of the same thing where it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. You can get upset. You can leave. It's fine. And then, like, they come back like 6 months later quietly, like, I'm sorry for yelling. It's not that bad anymore. They really improved it. Let's not talk about my scathing reviews before. I'm going to grab another drink real quick. I'll be right back. And then we will announce a winner.
Perfect. As long as I don't die in this dungeon while you're gone, because apparently I wasn't paying attention to my health, but we're good. Okay, that's a normal gamer thing, says Canaday in there, which he's right. It's true. Like, I don't know. Just because the gamers are the majority, does that mean that their opinions are the correct opinions? I don't know. But I've always thought there's multiple answers to any single question. So we'll see, man. I mean, I'm still giving it a couple more years before crypto gaming really becomes a. Before we take the next step, we have some like technical issues I think we have to resolve. But that doesn't mean that the space isn't going to continue to grow in the meantime. It's just crazy to watch it all play out in front of your eyes. But yeah, guys, going back to what Spizzo was saying a little bit, like, I think at least from my perspective, you know, obviously this past year has been kind of crazy for me. I'm going to be honest. Probably, you know, I don't want to put it mildly or whatever, but like probably honestly the hardest year of my life, at least so far. But thank God, I mean, I got married at the beginning of the year, and thank God I found my wife, because I don't know if I would have been able to make it through the same way without her, you know. But now that things are starting to relax and return to some semblance of normalcy in my life, I think it's time to start doing more of that content that I always wanted to create. Not only obviously for Lost Relics, because I ain't going away. I ain't leaving here anytime soon. Oh shoot! Unless I die, what the heck? Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Get me back in that portal. But yeah, the blockchain gaming space is growing faster than we all can think of. I mean, think about like how just a couple years ago there was really like you can count the number of blockchain games on your hand, and not anymore. Hell, you can't even count the number of chains in one hand.
No dying.
No dying, man. No dying. It's been a while since I've died, but it was a costly one the last time.
I feel like the last time I died, I guess that one doesn't count. When I, right before JMeyer's AMA with the my metaverse people, I blew myself up with TNT on purpose because it's just such an awesome animation.
Kaboom.
I was laughing how many people had never seen the TNT go off. Because, like, a bunch of people right after I did it were like, what the hell was that? Like, it's like, that was
there's still stuff to be seen.
That was the TNT. I'll blow myself up again tonight. I have to see how many I have left. I feel like those are things that are expensive.
Do it, brother. Do it. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to be wrapping up soon just because of work in the morning. But
I was, thinking here at 1 I was going to restart.
Gonna call him?
Yeah, I wanted to isolate yours. So whenever you were done, I'd stop and then restart.
No worries, no worries.
But,
well,
yeah.
Unless I hit a necrofancy pendant thing here, that's probably gonna have to be me because I gotta get up.
All right. And you, what? I'll finish this dungeon and
I'll do one more dungeon with you.
And then,
yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm
I
going
like
back
it
in right now. And you know this is gonna be the one I hit something in, right?
Oh, dude. I hope so.
That's how I hit my first mythical. That's what got me hooked in the game. Well, the game was badass. It's not what got me hooked, but when I hit that first mythical, I literally went into the Discord, told everyone good night, and then I said, no, you know what? One more run.
Oh, I did one.
One more run.
Which one did you find?
Dividing Supremacy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What are your favorite of the, you've got some god tier items. Like what?
What's the?
Because you've got like the one.
Look, I think honestly, yeah, I think honestly the Dark Scourge is going to always be like really important for me because I remember I played Lost Relics and I was streaming for a lot of hours before I actually bought an item. And because of the gas fees, going to like, it doesn't make sense unless you buy something that's a higher dollar value. I remember I put money aside and I was thinking about it. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then when I finally made the decision that I was just going to buy a Transcendent, it was the Dark Scourge because it was the best price on the market. And since then I've haven't looked back since then.
I always wanted the one Transcendent that I want is the shapeshifters.
Oh yeah.
I want to turn into a werewolf.
I'll trade you for the Krong.
Yeah, right. Like no, but I need to keep my Krong too. I need one Transcendent weapon of each.
Okay. Well, let's wait for Cliff. I mean, I don't know. Sooner or later, you would assume that there's going to be some type of. It might not be a lending or renting or gifting. I don't know. There's going to be some type of in-game system where it's like, hey, look,
we'll do it for us.
Yeah, that's true. It would.
Right, right? Because Efinity has the lending scholarship system.
My thing for them on Efinity is like, I think that's at the end of their roadmap.
Oh, is it?
I think it is only because it involves, because I think they want to do something more than just player to player. I had heard some reports. Now, granted, since it's so far out, I mean, I'm sure it's going to change. But I had just heard some reports that that they wanted to start making what's the word they use? It was
unilateral.
It's pretty much the idea of like you can do a quest in Lost Relics that unlocks a quest in another game.
Oh.
So not just items, more about gameplay and progression, but on chain.
Now,
so I guess you could look at it like achievements.
That would still like require inter-developer, like, because right, the multiverse items, if I'm not mistaken, just like that tournament that you were in that introduced you to Lost Relics, Engine paid and facilitated all of that.
Yeah, I mean, they never publicized it, but I'm sure it was a combination of shared costs between Engine and Swissport.
Okay.
I would assume so.
So it's like Lost Relics didn't have to.
Maybe.
Or
I doubt
did they
it.
have to do, like...
I think what they had to do was they had to make sure that the event was able to run on all games at the same time.
Okay.
In the same time frame.
And
because like the way it was is like you have 1 week to unlock these NFTs. Choose the game you want to go into to do it. So like literally all the games had to be prepared at the same time.
Jay thinks that we need to get Lost Relics into my metaverse.
Ooh.
Or get them to. I mean, there's that force.
Is Jay's interview on the AMG channel?
Yeah, the AMA of the yes it is.
Yeah. I need to watch that one. I haven't seen it yet. I'll put that on my to-do list.
That one's pretty good. They play I think more than a couple variations of because there's like Infinity and then there's GTA. There's like a bunch of different games on that game or in my metaverse. But yeah, I'd be down to anything to further the glory of Lost Relics.
For sure, man. And I mean, I know we're probably going to be, at least I'm going to be coming to an end here shortly, but you know, as always, if there's something that comes up that you need my help on,
yeah, dude.
I'm a DM away, brother. I'm a DM away. We'll make it happen whatever way possible.
Right after this, to send me your Engine wallet address.
Yeah, sure.
Complete set. Sending out everybody's stuff. So I got like 15 NFTs to send out.
What platform did you mint them on? Just wondering.
They're all Engine.
Engine, got it.
But yeah, they're made by the Bad Bears collection.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't make them. I work
it was a
with,
collab.
Yes, work with a couple of we work with the Grumpy collection and the Bad Bears collection, but the Bad Bears they've been very good to us. And yeah, they got bumped up to the Engine, released its like top 10 most influential NFT creators, and they're number 5 right now. So
what is that listing? I don't think I know that listing.
Engine lists their like most popular and engaged creators, and they have like a ranking system, and it's just a bunch of NFT collection artists.
Gotcha.
And I know that if I'm not mistaken, the previous year they weren't on it, and then now they're number 5.
Oh shit! Watch out.
We gotta try to get them to numero uno.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, they're awesome. Scotty and Tosh. It's like a little family operation. and they don't charge like there will be creators that will tag on permanent facilitation fees. So it will be, yeah, which is the totally respectable thing to do. Like the more it changes hands, the more of a percentage that person gets constantly.
You know, for whatever next time both of us can get on a stream together, we really need to have a conversation about creator royalties and all that drama that's happening.
Oh yeah,
with, like OpenSea and stuff.
Dude,
I'd love to get your perspective on that stuff.
That would be another good one actually, because yeah, I actually know a decent amount about that one.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, because I wanna learn some. I don't know. Like I'm willing to hear more sides of the argument because I feel like I haven't made up my mind. I feel like any day of the week I could change my opinion on the royalty one. So
yeah, it's I mean it's a double-edged knife. Like I get it and I don't. I should send you we never released it, but I filmed a documentary for a month at this place in Lansing called The Fledge, where this guy, he's a nut job, but he's like super enjoyable, and yeah, he'll give you all the clothes off his back. But he was this bigwig broker, and then was doing money deals in Dubai, and doing these like contracted deals out there, and it was like they would pay and you could get more money if you took cash because they didn't have to deal with like taxes or some section. So he was like, so we'd be like coming back into the United States and all of it's legal money, but you'd have, you know, $100,000. And you obviously have to declare this, and the government then would hold on to it for 6 weeks to 10 months sometimes, like, and before they give it back to you. And then it's the government,
so it takes even longer than you expect.
Yeah, so it's like they're supposed to get back to you within like 12 days or something like that, and he's like, it was never that. It was gone for weeks and weeks. So he was like, I discovered Bitcoin really early on, and I was like, oh, well, like, they had Bitcoin out there, and so it's like, pay me in Bitcoin. And so then I could just deal with the tax transfers myself, like if I wanted to, and blah blah blah. And he eventually accumulated enough money where he just decided that he was like, I'm done. Like, I don't know, he was like, all of a sudden I realized that I was just obsessed with greed and I stopped it all. And so he bought this like old church in this shitty neighborhood in Lansing and like kind of fixed it up, but he calls it the Fledge. And it's like, there's like a full recording studio in the basement. There's a robotics lab. Like, there's farming, like, section. Like, it's like anything and everything is this community hub. And he was like, I wanted to teach people about blockchain and how they don't need to rely on the government. And so kids, obviously, being in a bad neighborhood and stuff, he would introduce them to the blockchain and give them Fledge coins and pay them to do work around the building and then teach them about the blockchain. And like, he had a very interesting way to teach everybody about the ledger, like the importance of the immutable ledger. Because it was like, originally he was like, we're not going to we're going to do our own currency, and the whiteboard will be the thing that has it. And that's the master copy, and so it get changed all the time. People would be, you know, cheating the system. And he would be like, see how this doesn't work? Now go onto the blockchain. And had this coin that he would hand out for free, and has like food drives and just hosts like, I filmed a fucking wrestling event that they hosted. That was all paid for with everything that's paid for there is paid for with cryptocurrency.
Oh, it's
wild.
Good times, man. Yeah, good times. Like, for sure. Hit me up.
He has a really good speech on why those percentages tagged on for the artists are actually really important. And he kind of sold me on different things. I'm still undecided. But
feel you.
Yeah. I'll have to send that one. But we do have a winner, Omar M. Your timer started. Hey. There you are. I see he's answering there. You got yourself a Tome of Tranquility Epic Relic. But you didn't get it
Nicely
yet.
done.
You have to post your Discord before the timer runs out. But I do want to give a huge shout out to my main man, Striker. The 1
Thank
year,
you.
almost anniversary of the original interview. The OG himself. I posted a link. You can find all the info for Striker, all of his socials on the description. But there's another link. Make sure to go over there. I'm sure you guys have followed him already. If not, do it. But thank you so much for doing it again.
Thank you, brother. We always have a great time whenever we talk. I love
Oh,
it.
hell yeah, man. Like,
We'll make it happen some more.
100%. Like, yeah, we'll do it whenever you want. And yeah, I'll show you some info and stuff. I heard while I was gone, you talking about wanting to make more content. Let's chat.
Yes, we need to talk.
Yeah.
We definitely will.
But yeah, thank you so much again, and always welcome into.
Thank you, and
any
major
of the
shout outs to the
stuff.
ANG crew.
Oh yeah, you can also find everybody on the ANG crew's information in the description, all their socials, all their links. If you didn't already, please give a thumbs up. It helps out and it's free. But again, if you haven't, take that link over to Striker, give him a follow. He's always posting great shit on Twitter, as well as streaming and on his YouTube channel. Hit them all up. But yeah, he posts some good stuff on Twitter. So I'd strongly recommend following him on there.
Thanks a lot, Spiz.
Oh, yeah,
I'll catch
man.
you later, my friend.
Much love, brother.
Peace out.
See ya. Alrighty. Well, I am going to call it for this stream right here. But I may start right back up. I'm going to collect some winners. Is there anybody going right now on Twitch? Just going to check in with the ANG crew. We got Petty. Petty's playing some Apex. Find that link in the description as well. But yeah, if no one else is streaming or anything, I'll probably hop back on. Just condense the info and submit. But I gotta send out, yeah, about 15 pumpkins. And then we're good to go. And we can come right back live. But thank you so much. This is All NFT Gaming. I am the Spiz, and that was the interview round 2 with Striker. Bromigo beat the game today. I need to hear about that. I'm gonna message you. But hopefully I will see you guys very shortly. Happy hunting out there.